Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian. Guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket.
We've already seen one amazing comeback today. The less said about that, the better. Can England come from behind to win with their fellow youths in Barbados? It's 1-1 in the ODI series. They've moved on from Antigua. They've landed in Barbados. And the West Indies have won the toss and put England into bat. And Tony has been telling me that nobody wins when they bat first in Barbados. So probably not. We're not going to see a comeback. But who knows? Extraordinary things do happen. Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk. Wherever you are in the world, apart from America, welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I feel sorry for the other people in America. But if you're a mad American, you're not welcome. Okay, moving on. It is Guerrilla Cricket. I am Gorilla Hendo, and as I said, the West Indies put England into bat. There are a couple of changes in the teams. England line up as so: Phil Salt, Will Jacks, Jordan Cox. Need some runs. Jacob Bethell, Liam Livingstone, the hero of was it Saturday? Mm-hmm. Sam Curran, Dan Mousley, Jamie Overton is back.
For fuck's sake! Really?
Yeah, and he can bowl apparently.
And apparently he's ready to bowl. Yeah.
Jofra Archer, Adil Rashid, and Reece Topley. John Turner is out. Who is the other guy who's missing? Who's Jamie Overton come back in for? Saki? Oh, it's Saqib Mahmood, isn't it? Yep. The West Indies line up as follows: Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Casey Carty, Shai Hope, Shafane Rutherford, Shimron Hetmeyer, Roston Chase, Matthew Ford, Romario Shepherd, who's gives them a little bit of a big hitter lower down the order. Alzari Joseph and Gudagesh Moti. I shall say. We not Lalit
You've got
Modi.
political leaders on the brain, Hendo, haven't you? You just can't hide it.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was thinking of Lalit Modi, not Nahendra. Anyway, here we are. We're in a whole strange new world. What do we think of it all, Bear? I'll let the Bear rant.
Well, I mean...
About cricket, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping England do come back, and I'm hoping England do win. I mean, individual performances can win you a match, and that's certainly what happened the other day. I mean, good support from Sam Curran, 350s other than the 100. I mean, considering they are such a callow, youthful side with very limited batting resources, with Curran coming in at 6, it was absolutely astonishing they won the other night. Just takes one guy to do something large. Well, and the thing, I mean, if you looked at that innings, I didn't realise he'd scored the second 50 quite so quickly.
17 balls.
17 balls.
Yeah.
And we were literally sitting here discussing that, saying, well, if they can take it deep and he can get the second 20, and we were saying 20 balls. If he gets 50 off 20 balls, we'll win the game. And well, exactly that happened.
Well, on my left, to bring us up to date with all the stats and such like, amongst other things, it's the man with the grandpa jokes. It's Tony Bishop.
Don't know if I've got any jokes, but I can give you get you up to date on a few things, including the fact that I can't really hear much out of my microphone, but I hope you can.
I can hear you.
Team batting second overall since 1985 wins just 61% of the time. If you just look at the last 10 matches, which is since 2020 versus Ireland for the West Indies, 80% have been won by the team batting second. So
how many games
that's 8 out of 10.
Okay, and how many games did Ireland play, and how many times did Ireland bat second?
Well, it doesn't matter since
Well, it
Ireland,
does.
so not including
since
Ireland,
Ireland. Okay,
which was in 2020. 10 games, 80% have been won by the team batting second.
Oh,
so
well, I know who
8
the,
out
well,
of
I think
10.
it does matter who the opposition
Well,
is.
I will be able to tell you that in a minute.
Who are you two?
No, I'm just thinking, you know, if it's Zimbabwe, then it doesn't really fucking matter.
Wasn't. It
well,
wasn't.
I know it wasn't, but, you know, maybe a Pakistan.
The average first inning score is comparatively low, and likewise has been quite low. It was 167 in 3 matches in 2023. It was 234 in 2024. Yeah.
I feel like we've gone back to 224 AD.
Hey!
Hey! But anyway, on the way to the middle are Phil Salt and Will Jacks. Phil Salt has found a little bit of form. Will Jacks still searching for it. Shall we jingle them up?
Yeah.
Why not?
We have this man.
Get up on there. So salt, yeah, Phil is here. Want you to push it good into the offside. Skulls runs around the park. There's nowhere you can hide. Push it. So salt, yeah, Phil is here.
That 10, by the way, I'm going to tell you, Bear. India, New Zealand, Australia. So we're not talking rabbits.
We aren't talking rabbits. Well, that's interesting. Obviously, it's a shit wicket to bat on then.
Yeah.
Is the obvious answer to that one? Oh, look,
Well,
there's
it is going. It's supposed to be a bit slow and low. Quite a lot of moisture was what I think Shai Hope had commented on.
Thank you.
Looks lovely.
It does look lovely. Barbados is a lovely place. Let's be frank. The ground, since it's been remade, since it's been rebuilt for the 2007 World Cup, isn't quite what it was, in my opinion. It's lost some of its character, as so many grounds are doing in this day and age, I'm afraid to say. It's going to be Matthew Ford to open the bowling from the Joel Garner end.
He sounds like this.
When he forgets the results of the last 3 seasons, Ford was chosen as one of the team's mediums.
A pretty gentle first delivery outside the off stump, which is cut by Salt. He got timing, he got power, but he didn't get placement, and it was fielded quite comfortably by the man at square cover. Now England need to show the kind of approach as Ford is in again. A little bit of swing and beautifully timed off his legs poor piece of fielding at square leg, which means it might cost them 4 runs. Oh no, he just pulled it back. But they're certainly going to get through for 3. And so Salt is underway, and someone's injured themselves in trying to catch that. It's poor old Rutherford, but he's climbing to his feet now. Yep, I think that's fine. No problem, although he did rolled over the sponge and then into
classic
the
going down in
boundary
instalments,
boards.
wasn't it? There?
Yeah. England need to show the approach that they showed in the second ODI. They were so timid in the first one, weren't they, batting first? It was very strange.
Well, this is it. I think it's a perennial England problem, and inexperienced sides will face it more. How do you pace an innings on a slightly claggy wicket when you're having to decide what a good first innings score should be?
Well,
psychologically chasing
is
easier.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Jax will face his first delivery. He could do with a good knock. Now he's only just he played that with extremely good timing. And is that poor old is that Hetmar, not Rutherford this time? But he dives on that one, but beautifully timed with his legs. There was a tiny bit of in swing there. I suspect that he was looking up Jax and then worrying that he'd hit it too well, because it almost carried to Hetmeyer. The sun breaks through a little bit more strongly in Bridgetown as Ford is in again. He's got a slip, he gets swing there, and Jax is onto the front foot, very watchful, and plays out to extra cover. There is no run, no great speed from Ford, but trying to control that swing. He's around about 122 Ks at the moment. And Salt has got England underway with 3.
I will just let you know that we have our first super chat.
Marvellous stuff. Ford in to Jax again in the swing, and he's right forward. Takes the inside half of the bat. That kind of indicates how much swing there was there.
Shall we have a jingle for Will Jax?
Absolutely. Have we not had one?
It might be Will Jax. Maybe it's Will Jax. It's probably Will Jax. Yeah, it's Will Jax.
There you go.
It is indeed Will Jax. He's going to face the final ball of the over. Yet to get underway. And he has a little flirt at that one outside the off stump. Wasn't a particularly good shot. Was maybe expecting a bit of movement in again. That one really just went straight on. He's beaten by it through the keeper, but no real damage. After 1 over, England are 3 for none.
Right. Jay Grover, £2. Thank you, Jay, so much. YouTube odd, he says, like the world. That was the super chat. He also said, just bother, please give joy, and congratulations to the Bishop by proxy. I reckon there'll be a mint grandar. Yes, I hope so. Rich Turner Music. Good evening all. An intriguing decider. Yes, it is. We hope so. England will have to find a way to set an imposing total and pace their innings accordingly. So we think that's going to be quite an interesting challenge for an inexperienced side, Rich, but we'll see.
Alzari Joseph's going to bowl from the Malcolm Marshall end. I kind of, to have Ford and Joseph bowling from the Malcolm Marshall and the Joel Garner ends, it kind of seems like a parody of West Indian fast bowling to some extent. Anyway,
Matthew Ford has done very well in this series, and he's looked, he's been quite a handful most of the time for.
Well,
England
he's been
bowlers.
a handful when he's got when the ball's new, but not so much when it's old.
well, when he's come back for second and third spells, he's done quite well. The first ball is defended on the line of leg stump up to mid-on, and there is no run. No, I don't think that England's callow. I think all of them fallow. I meant callow. What is fallow? What does fallow mean?
Fallow means sort of shallow, doesn't it? And or not well populated. It's also a type of deer.
Completely wrong then. Joseph in. Gets a little bit of a way swing there, but it's a half volley, which I think Salt might have done a bit more with. He seemed to stop the shot a little bit. It went straight up to mid-off, where Shepherd is fielding. And England remain 3 for no wicket. So Super Chatters. GPL, of course. I suppose I should talk about the GPL, the
Yeah.
Guerrilla Prediction League. How much in the GPL, Bear? You'll have to find out.
£100.
£100 exactly. Joseph in. Onto the back foot goes Salt and crunches it away, but I think they got a little bit wise to Salt here. They put a man back at deep backward point. He's one of the two men outside the circle, and it is a shot that Salt favours, so he's only going to get a single rather than 4. He moves to 4. £100 in the GPL. You estimate how many runs you think will be scored in the entire game. You pay us £1 for the privilege, and if you get it on the nose, you get all that's in the pot. And of course, the more of you that take part, I say this every bloody time, the more of you that take part, the bigger the pot grows. So for every £2 that are put in, £1 goes on to the total. So if 50 of you were to enter, that would be 125 quid. Joseph in, a little bit of away swing, certainly a lot quicker than Matthew Ford, 136 miles an hour. It's left alone by Jax, and a pretty good opening over so far from Alzari Joseph. Missed the second ODI. He was left out and his namesake came in. I'm surprised they haven't kept faith with Shamar, but there you go. Here comes Joseph in, bowls, and Jax is defending a good length ball. This is pretty good disciplined bowling so far from the West Indies, and they're offering nothing to Jax at the moment, who remains not out after 6 deliveries. Oh, look at those people. It's like they've got no cares in the world. Not particularly edifying to look at, to be honest, some of those bodies, but there you go. It might say that about us, to be honest. Although at least we have got our clothes on. Joseph in, bowls. They're going to take a quick single. That's nicely dropped into the on the side, and a fielder running in from mid-wicket can't pick it up cleanly. So Jax is finally off the mark. He's kept the strike. Salt has 4, Jax has 1, and England after 2 are 5 for no wicket. Tony.
Right, yes, Lockie 6. May I say, Lockie 6, what a fabulous name you have. It's 4 a.m. here. This better be good. Camilla Cochilla. That's another fantastic name as well. Camilla Cochilla. Glad the series is level coming into this. NFCC. Nottingham Forest, I guess so. Fallow means left unattended. Camilo Cochilla. World cricket is better when the Windies can be competitive. Well, I think we all agree with that.
Ford starts his second over. He's into Jax, and Jax goes back and is hit high up on the thigh. Completely missed it. Was trying to work it into the on the side. There is no run. 5 for no wicket. And
lots of people putting us right on the meaning of fallow, Hindu. I don't think either of us got it quite right. You were more wrong than what I was, but nonetheless.
Yeah. I got my F's and my C's mixed up.
Yes. Got to be careful with that.
Yeah, indeed, you do. Full driven. Lovely shot this time by Jax. And that is going to run away with extraordinary pace to the extra cover boundary. One of these.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
A little bit on the up. But he kept his shape really well and threaded it while also timing it beautifully. Those square boundaries at Barbados, I can tell you, are quite short. If you go square on, it's a very good view in some respects. Oh, he's had a little flirt at that, and I think he's got an edge through. So he's followed up one glorious shot by getting an edge through to the keeper, Jax. He did kind of the same thing in the second ODI. He played a wonderful shot, then he tried to help another one on its way and was caught on the boundary. This time he's flirted with another drive outside the off stump, edge through to the keeper, and England have lost an early wicket.
It's a bit of a loose drive, isn't it?
Playing miles away from his body.
Well, I suppose he's just timed the pants off one and thinks I must be in quite good form, and then he has a go at another one, and I don't know that it moved very much, but it's always a risk when you've not got in yet, that you might misalign a delivery slightly. Anyway, back to the socials.
Right, yes, fallow says NFCC means left untended.
Well, I think...
Why are we talking about fallow?
Because I said fallow instead of callow in my intro.
Lockie the Six said, so a fallow youth is a neglected child.
Yes.
Jay Grover, for once I feel like embracing Hendo's masochistic tendencies, and some fell on fallow ground. Biblical, isn't it?
Oh, biblical.
NFCC, usually cultivated land that is allowed to idle during the growing season. What are you doing, Bear?
I don't know what the
well,
he's
And use figuratively for unproductive spells, as in fallow periods. There you are.
Of course, yes.
Dara
Correct.
Azizi, hi all. Hello to you, Dara. NFCC, non-fussy is what NF stands for, though he does follow Notts County Cricket Club.
Notts County Cricket Club.
No, Notts County Cricket
Oh,
Club.
Nottinghamshire.
Yes.
Yes.
Not as in Notts County.
They
It might be a regular at Meadow Lane as well. I don't know.
They used to be in the Premier League, didn't they? Not
They
at one
have
point.
been in the past.
Sure did. Jordan Cox has come to the wicket, and boy, does he need some runs. He plays first ball into the offside, looking for a single.
Wow.
There.
This is the problem, isn't it? This middle order is. Yeah.
Well, he's a catchy man with a catchy plan. If he were in a band, it would not be bland. It's Jordan Cox.
There's Jordan Cox, and he's been cut short by the Bear. In comes Ford, still got a slip. Oh, he's got that one to swing in. And Cox, in trying to play it into the onside where he thought the ball was heading, has got an outside edge, has flown down to third man. Maybe that's the little bit of luck that he requires. So he's off the mark, 10 for 1.
Well, I mean, he was playing that. His back came down from that gully, didn't it? I mean, well, maybe not. Maybe it came down straight and he just pushed at it, but it wasn't great.
No. Ford again then to complete a successful over. Can it be even more successful? Not on this occasion. Salt decides to let that one go. 3 overs are bowled. Salt has 4. Cox has a single. It's 10 for 1.
Is that the end of the over?
Yep.
It is.
I wasn't ready, sorry. I was doing something else. Caught me on the hop. Which means I have to jump back.
Or in our case, on the hops.
On the hops. Very good. Although I think we're pretty much up to date as far as YouTube is. Non-fussy was the our friend from NFCC.
Okay.
Do you have a football following in Nottingham, or is it just the cricket, Mr. Not Fussy? Jay Grover, album of Half Man, Half Biscuit, B-sides and all. Not quite sure what that's about.
Me neither.
Is that related to Notts County? Is it related to fallow? Is it related to Not Fussy?
I prefer a full biscuit, to be honest. I'm probably a full person.
You'd be a half man full of biscuits.
Very good. He's here all night, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for me as well.
Alzari Joseph is going to start a new over. He's going to be bowling to Cox, and they brought in 2 slips, and I think that's quite a good move. They're scenting blood a little bit here at the West Indies.
Well, you got to have 2 people up in. How many people you got in circle? 4, is it now?
No, you're only allowed 2 outside.
Actually, so you
you've
might
got
as well.
So you've got to have 7 inside the circle.
He's
Oh, why not
guaranteed his
2
trip
slips
to New
then?
Zealand, is Cox, but I think between the T20s and that, he's got to try and put some runs on the board, and he hasn't done yet, has he?
Well, I'm not so sure it matters. I mean, I think it's more important to try and get runs on an ODI. And a T20, I don't think it really matters. If he gets a nice score, it'll help his psychologically. But
Yeah.
I mean, Test cricket and long form cricket is such a different game.
Well, I think he probably is more attuned to Test cricket, but he just needs those runs for confidence. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Joseph in, onto the back foot he goes, and that's a nice shot, but he won't get a run. It's grabbed at backward point.
I mean, I've heard a lot about him. He's got reasonable county average, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's. All I've seen him, I've not seen him in 4-day cricket, but I have seen him in T20 and 100, and he's actually been very good domestically.
I've seen him do pretty much jack shit.
Yeah, since he got into the England
Yeah, exactly.
lineup. Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
done nothing. I want him to do well. I want to see him. Everyone talks about him being a decent player, but I've seen.
Well, the thing is, do we expect too much too quickly from players?
Well-
some sort of grow at a different level, don't they?
But when you're in a competitive international, if you don't do it, you're going to sink by the wayside pretty quickly. England
Well,
set up do seem to give decent length of time to players these days.
Certain ones. Oh, he drives at that.
Yeah.
And there was a big gap between bat and pad, but he got enough. He got enough of the inside half of the bat on it to get it to mid wicket, but it didn't look like a convincing shot.
I think really the first 3, 4, 5 overs where Matthew Ford gets it to swing quite prodigiously with
Yep.
the new ball, but after about 3 or 4 overs it stops doing it. I just think you've got to assess the game and go, okay, there's only 6 overs where we're not really going to score. If you get a bad ball, we'll score, and if we can nudge a couple of singles here and there, fine. But as soon as the ball starts going straight, we can think about playing some shots. It just needs to. You don't have to go off like a T20 on an ODI.
Change in mindset, yes.
Yeah.
Joseph, flexibility. That's an amazing thing to talk about. Onto the back foot goes Cox and just drops it into the offside. There won't be a run.
You think power play in a T20, which is the same as a power play in terms of fielding positions, yeah?
Yeah.
Is 6 overs.
Yeah.
How many times do you see 80, 90 runs? Well, maybe not that many, but you see 60 quite often, right?
Yeah.
Which allows you to go for 0 for 4 overs and then play some shots.
Yeah, I just think that England needed a little bit more about them in this power play today than they did when they batted first in the opening ODI. He's in again. Oh, that's flown. Has that found the edge? I think it has. Cox doesn't want to go, but I think he's going to have to. And wow, that was a fabulous delivery from Joseph. It leapt on him. And it had great pace as well, 148 k's.
He can't believe it.
He can't believe it. He's on his way for 1. England are in disarray, a bit like the Democrats. It's 10 for 2.
Well, yeah.
Another one bites the dust.
Really
Gloved
I
it.
think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
That was. I'm not going to diss him for that. That was a fucking cracking delivery. I don't think he expected it to jump like that.
No, it's a classic fast bowler's dismissal, isn't it, really? That we used to see time and time again from the West Indies, but that really was.
That really flew.
Bit of extra pace. It was a bit shorter, and as you say, it lifted so dramatically. That was what was so difficult for Cox, and
Wasn't unplayable at close to.
It was.
That's as good a delivery as I've seen for a while from a fast bowler getting it to lift like that.
Yeah, it doesn't fill you with confidence that he's going to be taking the place of Jamie Smith, does it? But anyway, I think Tony may have some.
I can. Do you want to
interventions.
wait until let's get the new man in, shall we? And then I'll go intra oval over.
Right. Well, this is a familiar thing. What are we on? 3 overs.
3 overs, 10 for 2.
Jacob Beckham's born in Barbados, now he plays for the English team. They say that he is an all-rounder, but that remains to be seen.
Where's Joe Root? He normally comes in at 10 for 2. Talking about players being given opportunities, well, Crawley is the prime example of that, isn't he? They've decided they're sticking with him. Outside the off stump to the left-hander and left alone. Now Bethell batted very well in the second ODI, and I know there's been some criticism that he's been called up for the England squad to go to New Zealand when he's barely scored any runs in county cricket, but to me he looks completely the part, and I suspect that, well, it's going to be difficult, isn't it, because Cox is their chosen wicketkeeper, but he could push Cox out of the team if they can find another wicket.
Well, you wonder whether
Joseph in. Oh, it's a very wide delivery and very full, and he tries to come down on that and squeeze it out, but makes no contact. Good over. It's a wicket maiden, would you believe? England after 4 are 10 for 2.
Yeah, it's not looking great. The album from Half Man, Half Biscuit says Jay Grover, some fell on fallow ground. Biblical in it, you bricks. Ben McCormick. Evening all, I see we've started as well as Kamala Harris. Well, Ben, yes. Jay Grover, Tony doing old school notes warms my heart. Well, I'm actually bizarrely taking notes of my digital notes.
Tony is the new Zoo.
You what? Are you? No, you're really going to set me off now. You serious?
Well, only just little things that I might mention on air, just to I can't get everything off my phone when I'm trying to read the watch the cricket.
Well, all you got to do is flip between programs.
Too soon, Ben McCormick, says Jay Grover, echoing, I think, the thoughts of all of us, really. But don't take it to heart, Ben. Hombre Nuevo, you can guess what he says to start with. Evening, wonderful GC. Well, this morning was rather depressing. Let's hope this can be a tonic with GC as the gin. Well, we'll give it a try.
Lovely on drive
Oh,
from
that was really nicely
Salt. He's timed it really well, and it's been pursued with great pace by an unfortunate fielder.
Did he go in? Yeah, he did.
And he has. He's disappeared. Rutherford again has disappeared behind the hoardings trying to stop that, but he couldn't do it. It's 4 runs.
That was really nicely timed.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
YouTube Prime Super Chat.
I got another super chat.
Have you got it over there?
We do. You're absolutely right. Ravi Natarajan, $5 that'll be worth about 2p very soon. Sorry guys, but a big FU from 47 to all Gorilla celebrities. Starmer has now changed his loyalties. I'm not quite sure what that means.
I don't know what that means.
A big
well, I mean,
you.
you know, he has to work with what he's got, doesn't he? Unfortunately.
47 to all Gorilla celebrities.
Ford in bowls, and I thought he just held that one back a little bit, and Salt adjusted, didn't go after it as he might have done. Just pushes it into the offside.
I mean, what Lammy said about it's going to be difficult for them to work together.
Well,
oh yeah,
and
well,
apparently the Donald does have a long memory for these
of course
things,
he
apparently.
fucking does. He's as
he's
as thin as paper. His skin.
The only thing I'm hopeful of is that maybe having re-elected him with such a majority, as Ford is in again, slips have gone for Salt, but he's onto the front foot and just defends that towards mid-wicket. I'm just thinking, will the benevolent Trump emerge? Will he say, "Oh well, let's bygones be bygones.
No
I
way.
won't execute you all." You know,
that ain't happening.
No, all right.
No.
then. That was my one
But
thing
what-
that I was hanging on to.
Oh, I don't know.
Back to the cricket.
Back
and
to the cricket.
The
Back to
Bears'
the cricket,
comment about
sorry.
Matthew Ford. He had a really good. The last ODI here was the one that England lost by 4 wickets last year. I'll hold that thought for a second.
I thought that was a sort of a bit of footage from a previous one-day international, because the sun went in and I thought it looked completely different. Defended into the offside. Now Alzari Joseph has gone off and he's sitting talking. I mean, if he's got an injury, you would imagine he'd go into the dressing room, but he's just sitting in the
Maybe he can't come over until the end of the over.
Oh, had he been? Oh, you mean he'd been off already? Yeah, maybe. Ford in again. Ooh, just a little bit of nibble there, I thought. And
Stopped a bit.
Salt watches it, defends it studiously into the offside.
That last game last year, which was the last ODI played here, England got rolled for 206 for 9.
God.
West Indies won by 4 wickets in a low-scoring game, which is why the 2023 average first innings score is quite low. Ford took 3 for 29.
I don't
Duckett made
remember any of that.
71. Duckett made 71, so the rest of the England team didn't cobble much together between them.
Ford in again, shorter onto the hip, but he won't get a run because there's quite a reinforced leg side field inside the circle. So Salt has 8 from 12. It's the end of the over. 5 gone. England not doing very well. Tony.
Yes, indeed. Right. Oh, there's a few. Right. Metal in both legs. What? Says Super Chat Bear. Super Chat. Do you want to do it?
I love this. It's just taking me a while to get it, but now I got it.
YouTube comments, we're not getting a mention. Too
he's
many
gone the long
lonely
version.
folks needing some
Like
attention.
it. I like it. Leave it.
You post your super chat and then you pay the price. These things we read for cash. These things we read for cash.
You have to explain it to me, Bear.
Okay, I will
It's
do.
also such a long jingle, you don't actually get time to read the Super Chat. But
Yeah,
I'll
no,
do my
come
best.
on. Yeah, well, you
Cheers, Bear. Me 33rd spin round yellow
53rd
sky.
spin round yellow
53rd spin
sky
round yellow
thingy.
sky thingy.
I was thinking, what the fuck are you on about?
States.
He's talking about the glory roll.
Ah,
Has he seen his name for the 53rd time going around? Wicked, good man. See, that's what happens. Become a patron. and
Just
you
one
see
of the
your name up
benefits.
in lights.
I don't think I've ever heard of metal both legs. Outside the off stump, cut and call!
what a
Oh no, Bethell has gone. It's a brilliant catch by Chase. at backward point. England.
We're going home early, boys.
Well, yeah, we are. Just to add to the depression of the day, they're now 14 for 3. It wasn't a bad shot. It was a great catch.
Just fuck off!
What a catch.
That was a good catch. I was going quick and he had to leap.
Oh, God, I hate games that end early. We've had nothing but games that end early this year.
Well, the last one
didn't.
Yeah,
certainly
what?
didn't.
Well, well done. One game.
And the
that
other
didn't
one, we
finish
had
early.
lots of rain, so we didn't get off early. But we got hammered.
I'm talking about the test matches in the summer.
Oh, right, yeah. Test matches don't go 5 days. Well, no.
Well, they don't. I mean, India, New Zealand. Look at that. Both of those last 2 games were just 3 days.
Well, that came back to bite India, didn't it?
It was very strange. But I totally agree with you that actually, when they develop really turning wickets, it makes.
Well, it makes it a lottery.
Well, it makes it a lottery, but it actually makes the lesser spinners more or dangerous than even the sort of experienced
God,
ones.
haven't I said every time I've been in the subcontinent, you can be an average spinner and do wonders in fucking India if on a wicket like
Joe
that.
Root, 5 for 8.
Well, exactly. I mean, Jesus.
Anyway, Livingstone has come to the wicket and he
The
needs
saviour.
He needs to score another 100, basically. At least.
Well, he does have Livingstone in his name. He was the founder of something. What did he do?
He was an African explorer. He was an explorer.
My one-day kid is blue, but for the test it's white.
Look, I don't mind England losing.
Some catch that.
It was some
let's
catch.
be honest.
It's a superb catch. But I don't mind England losing, but I want a proper game.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure someone will get in.
I don't. There's not much.
I mean, that's the thing. You got to hand it to the Windies here. I mean, okay, Will Jack's just prodded at a stupid one outside off stump, but the ball that got Cox was an absolute corker, and that's a corking catch. And you know,
yeah, it's good cricket. I mean, that was the first ball from Romario Shepherd, so they've got a benefit from Joseph being off the field at the moment, whatever the problem was. So 14 for 3 after 5.1 overs. Salt has 8 of those. And Livingstone is about to face his first ball. Get your GPLs in quickly because it could be over quickly. If you want to estimate how many runs you think we scored in the game in total, go to GorillaCricket.com competition and follow the instructions. If you put down £1, you could win at least £100 if you get it on the nose.
When you see him, Roston Chase doesn't strike you as Mr. Agile. He doesn't look like a honed athlete, but that was an amazing catch.
He looks pretty honed by our standards.
Well, yeah. Well, okay.
I wonder.
That's a low bar.
Interestingly enough, I think they were looking at that again as he went to. There was the potential that he grounded it, not quite as obviously as Mitchell Stark at Lords, but curious one. But anyway, he's not been called back, so the umpires are satisfied. We're going to have another look. Brilliant. Then he goes down. Does he slam that into the ground as he lands on his? He lands sort of face down. It's difficult to see. But I kind of feel like he deserves it because it was a great effort. 2 slips now in for Livingstone. Straight ball on a good length from Shepherd. Defends to mid wicket, and there is no run.
Curran in next is when you start to look at that batting lineup and go,
Never mind. There's still Jamie Overton to come.
Oh, man of the match in the first game.
Absolutely. He did everything, didn't he?
He did everything.
Just couldn't keep him out of the game. Couldn't keep him out on the pitch. Very long. Shepherd in again. Bowls to Livingstone onto his pads. He's going to get a leg by as that runs behind square leg. And so England creep onto 15 for 3. And Salt is quite important now to this England approach. The run rate is just over 2. Just over. It's nearer 3. 2.73 per over. Ripping away. And West Indies will probably be incredibly happy. That's a lovely shot from Salt. He cut that with great power, but they're really fired up in the field, and that, well done, Hetmeyer, who gets in the way of that, and his teammates come running up to him and give him the fist pump.
That's really a sign of a team that's on their toes and on their game, isn't it? When they just run over to applaud each other for good fielding.
Well, it is, and it's also a little bit of a display for the benefit of the batsmen, I think, to show how
on top of their game
fired
they
up we are. Yeah, basically.
I agree with that.
Just the one slip now. Shepherd in, bowls, defended onto the onside. He's going to go through for a quick single up to mid-on. He's going to have to hurry, and I think it's hit the stumps.
It has, but he's in.
He's in. I think he's home.
Well done.
It was closer than I was expecting it to be. They're going to go and have a look.
I think he's levelled the stumps.
Please, for cricket's sake, let this not be out.
He's pleading with the world.
God. Oh, no, it should be all right. No, it's all right. That's a good piece of fielding.
Yeah,
he was on the run. He was on the run. He had to sort of sidearm it in, and he's hit the stumps directly. But Salt is well and truly home. I mean, it's difficult for an umpire. He doesn't really get into position to be able to give a ruling on that. 2 slips now for Livingstone. Well, that was round-armed from Shepherd, and it's been whipped away by the England captain through mid-wicket. Lewis chases. They'll get back for 2. Livingstone is off the mark, and after 6 overs, England have raced, I tell you, to 18 for 3.
Well, what were you saying? Top scores were 160 2 years ago, 220. Seems like a competitive score.
It is low scoring, right? Loads and loads of you are joining us and messaging us, which is lovely. Lockie, that fabulous name, says, oh shit. Kieran Rose played. Evening all, stuck at work, just popping in to say hello. Hombre Nuevo, says Jay Grover. Never been tempted to smack a relapse for 20 years, looking seductive. Ravi Nattajam, 47 is Trump. Brian in Brisbane, evening all. I tune in to see the senior Gorilla team in situ. Great stuff, but this is offset by the score. WTF. Oh, I've just managed to obliterate the thing I was reading. WTF, has England carried over their who gives a fuck batting non-thinking? I don't think you can say that on these for those dismissals.
Forward in, back of a leg, defended by Salt up to mid-on.
I mean, I think it's fair to say one was a slightly lazy drive.
Yeah.
One was unplayable, and one was a worldy catch.
Yeah. I agree. I think 2 of those, but they were all precipitated by the wafty fucking shitty shot outside the off stump
by Will Jacks.
Yeah.
I did see someone on Twitter saying surely Will Jacks has to be dropped now. I don't know. It's difficult. Forward in, a little bit of swing, and not met with any real confidence that by Salt. It's the kind of ball that in T20 he would have slammed over deep square leg, but he just defends this to mid-wicket.
Well, I mean, if you look at what the side would be if these players weren't here, if we had a full complement.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
You'd have Joss Butler, you'd have Jamie Smith.
You probably would have. You'd have Root.
I'd probably have Duckett, and I'd probably have Root.
Oh, you'd have Duckett, wouldn't you? Defended into the offside by Salt, who has moved to 9 off 17.
Which means who stays out of this top 6? And possibly Salt, probably. He seems to have found a little bit of form. Then you probably stay Livingstone and maybe Bethell. So that's 7. If you include 4 of the people we've talked about, there's your 7. So Will Jacks doesn't have a place. And then you probably got Sam Curran at 8, and then your bowlers or whatever.
He's in again. Bowls onto the leg stump, and he is playing very timidly, really, for the kind of batsman that he is. Salt. It's like he's gone from one extreme to the other, from being completely carefree. He's now very watchful. I understand that, but these are balls on his leg stump or outside, almost outside, or angling down that way, and you would think he would be looking at least to turn the strike over rather than just defending in the way that he is.
I agree with you, but after this
again on just to the leg stump, and he plays it calmly up to mid-wicket, and there is no run.
Maybe he's decided his one-day style is going to actually be calm, because he knows he can accelerate and he knows he can score really quick.
Well, it may be that, because I mean, he was made to look like an absolute donkey by Josh Hazlewood in the Australia series. I mean, he looked like he had no clue. You know, and we've seen it with Livingstone, haven't we, who gave it away too easily. He cuts that, and he cuts it well, but there's a ring of 3 on the offside, and deeper set cover is the man who intercepts that one, and it's a maiden. End of the 7th. England are a pitiful 18 for 3.
Right, got loads to get through. Jay Grover, Starmer seems like any port in a storm at the moment. Gideon John, keep up the good work. Good guy line and length. Quite right, they have been bowling well. Muttley says, woof, evening primates.
Muttley!
I've just woke up from a nap. Last night was shite. Glad I didn't stay up for all of it. Love and sausages. Ranjit Rawat says, England record in the West Indies, not good. Certainly not in limited overs cricket recently, and indeed the last test series wasn't great. Ashley Partridge says, hi, everyone, how are you doing today? Lockie says, who is this Bethell bloke? The Warwickshire all-rounder. Jay Grover, Muttley Von Erich, says, I stayed up all night with just some crisps. Could have done with some of dal. Home cooking.
Defended by Livingstone. Up to mid-on. Shepherd starts a new over.
And we have.
Use your bribe, super chat.
It is the estimable Brian in Brisbane, $5, who says, evening to the 3 shades of grey gorillas. What has happened to Tony's promised rostering of a studio-based Annie? She's coming. She's here. We're expecting her sometime between 7 and 8, Brian. She is going to be here.
But it may be over before then. Onto the back foot goes Livingstone, plays out into the covers. There is no run.
I have noticed that pretty much everybody's in the studio tonight. It's fantastic.
And we did put the wine to one side, which I hope is still here, Bear.
The wine is in the cupboard.
The wine
there's
is
a
in the
bottle of
cupboard.
red, there's a bottle of white.
Thank you there. So don't worry, it's been lovingly guarded.
Well, that's because no one drinks wine.
By
really.
our in-house Rottweiler.
I drink beer by choice.
Shepherd again. England scoreless for 8 balls. And he comes wide on the crease. Dropped down towards backward point area by Livingstone.
I mean, this is it.
No run.
Livingstone can just. I mean, Livingstone after that last thing, must have he's so confident in his ability to strike the ball that if he just hangs around, you know, he can get 50 in no time at all.
Well, I suppose that's true of both these players, actually. But you know, England haven't got wickets to play with really here, have they?
Well, no, that's why they've got to go deep. But they should go deep now. And they should play it. You know, if you can get to 150 after 30 overs, still get 300.
Romario Shepherd bowls hit on the up by Livingstone, who looks a little bit distrustful of the surface there and has a grin at it. Shepherd's quite pleased with that delivery. Was a little bit of leg cut? No, I don't know really. It just
maybe a little
jumped
bit
on him a bit. He's very round-armed, is Romario Shepherd. So it probably skids on a little bit. Salt has 9, Livingstone 2, England 18 for 3. Beginning to fill up at the Kensington Oval. Onto the back foot goes Livingstone. He was playing that square on the offside, was looking for a single, but there wasn't anything there. Tony is chortling.
Well, I've just seen what Brian is referring to when he said, if you zoom into Hendo's seat, it looks like little men holding his phone onto the armrest, which it actually does. It's quite amusing. It's the back. If you look at the backdrop, the little chaps on the backdrop are positioned just to the point where it literally looks like they're holding up your telephone on the arm of your seat.
How weird. Onto the back foot goes Livingstone, plays it again to that man. Backward point, and there is no run. Is that 2 maidens in a row? I believe it is. Have we got a jingle for that? We should have.
No.
18 for 3 of 8.
Pretty maidens all in a row.
We might have a jingle from Maiden. Let me have a look.
In the meantime, I'll remind you about the GPL. Get on the GPL and win yourself over 100 quid if you get the number of runs in this match.
Well, in the meantime,
just go to cricket.com competitions and follow the instructions.
Indeed. In the meantime, Brian in Brisbane says, now I can't unsee Green Army Men. Or Jay Grover says, Brian, now I can't unsee Green Army Men. Holy shit, says Leah. I forgot there was a match on today. So did England's batsman, Leah. Lockie Six says, zoom into
Oh my
seat.
God, look, it's fucking, what's his name?
Who?
From,
Matt Thacker.
Thacker.
It is Thacker. He's there. Oh, nice work if he can get it.
Yeah.
Chopped by Salt. Beginning of a new Ford over. He's bowling his 5th. He's got figures of 1 for 12.
Have I missed something? Who's Matt Thacker?
Matt Thacker was he's like the Wisden magazine
Oh yes,
head honcho.
yes. I do.
But he
know.
annoyingly, he always smacked me around the park when we played games against them.
If you want to make it over, all you gotta do is join the dance.
Oh, I like that.
That's very nice. Oh, now, Phil Salt dropped that down behind square on the offside and thought there was an easy single there, but Livingstone was not interested, so he had to scamper back. There is no run. So England have now not scored a run for at least 14 deliveries. And the way they're playing, they should be picking up singles here. There should be a way of manipulating a few singles when you are batsmen of this quality.
Well,
I think
we think that all the time, but sometimes it's not true.
in again, and he plays it defensively once. Scan, everything is on middle and leg, and he's just playing to mid wicket. He's kind of.
You
playing
don't know
into
why he
their
doesn't
hands.
play with a little softer hands and just let it
And
ride
take the
around the
sing-
corner.
and just
well,
close
there
the
is a
face
man
a
on the
bit more.
45, so you're not going to get it every time because you might, you can't get the angle dead right all the time. But I mean, that guy's down there for a reason. That if you turn it around the corner, it goes straight to him. So, there isn't a run there necessarily either, unless you can miss him. And there is a chance that it pops up a little bit, maybe.
Maybe it is just sticking in the pitch. Maybe that's the problem. He's in again. He's played a really well struck. He hammered that, but didn't time it at all. He went straight to Walsh, and there is no run. He must be on for Alzari Joseph. I guess he's not actually in the 11, as far as I'm aware. Just England, he just chops it into the ground.
It's not really coming on, is it?
I'm guessing so, but they do seem very suspicious of the pitch at the moment. Ford in again, bowls, and he chops this one. He will get a run. Finally, the spell is broken. Goes down to third man. I think it's Carty down there who does the fielding. And finally, Salt is into double figures. England 19 for 3. One ball remaining in the 9th over. It's me again, isn't it? I've taken early wickets.
Yeah.
I am the...
Tone's in next, so maybe we can get some runs.
Not to be too solipsistic
with
about
Gary.
it, but I think I took 5 wickets for Australia in one of the power plays in the summer. Livingstone down to face the final ball of Ford's over, and he defends into the offside again. No run. 9 overs bowled. Would you credit it? England 19 for 3.
Yeah, it's not going particularly well. Leah says, I refer you to Blue Sky for the design of the first shirt, Tony. I'm not quite sure what of, but I'll go and have a look. Well, actually, I can't because I haven't got Blue Sky, but the bear can have a look if he kindly would. Jonathan Shawland says, I did not get up early enough for the start of this match and appear to have missed quite a lot. Pirate Badshah, ahoy, Salts and Sea Dogs, J. Grover, Leah, I could have done with a Pilsner, a currywurst and a comforting arm 12 hours ago. I've embedded a ring into my right hand after crying and punching the wall.
Who's this?
I think we're talking about the election. That was J. Grover. Mousley says, shh, they are actually our little men. Don't tell us otherwise. Ranjit Rawat, England will win only if Livingstone hits 200 runs. There we go. Denial is proof, says Lockie. And J. Grover says, that sounds filthy if you put it like that.
Shepherd into Salt. He's got a slip, but he's chopped that away down to deep backward point. They're definitely not offering him anything on the offside, but he will take one. He goes to 11. 20 for England. 20 for 3.
Riches. Lockie's, the thing that may have sounded filthy was zooming into Hendo's seat.
Now, I'm sure I was when I was watching University Challenge the other night, that they said Ian Bishop was an alumni of the University of Leicester who were on. Driven, lovely shot from Livingstone. That will race away for 4 runs through extra cover, or just straight of extra cover. Much needed boundary for England. Now that was I didn't do anything off the pitch, but you could see in the replay how much Shepherd put into that in terms of leg cut fizz. Really, it was almost like a quick leg break. He's in again. This one is dropped into the offside. Who is that very tall man at backward point? I'm having difficulty identifying him at the moment. But, anyway, I hear the chortling of the much missed. She's here. Everyone's favourite. She's here.
Hello.
Haven't seen her for absolutely yonks. I think the last time I saw Annie, we were having a curry during the Ashes. Shepherd in bowls. Lovely drive straight back at him on the up from Livingstone, but not with enough power or timing to beat the bowler. So this is tremendous stuff from the West Indies. We're almost done with the power play, and England are a paltry 24 for 3. Now, I think, Annie is the perfect tonic for a terrible election result, isn't she? Shepherd in again. Wide on the crease. Oh my goodness, Livingstone's given it away. He's had a flash at this outside the off stump, and would you believe it?
Endo's got a fourfer.
I've got a fourfer. It's 24.
Well, still got
for
one
4.
ball left.
Absolutely terrible.
For crying out loud.
They don't want you on, Annie. That's what it is.
Did that jump a bit?
Not really. It's very much like the Will Jacks dismissal, really.
Wow.
This is utterly
shite.
Absolutely terrible from England. I mean, they've just won a game superbly well. And it's like they come into this game with no confidence. I don't understand it. Well, what can you say? One ball to go. I'm going to go and have some. I'm going to have some food in a minute.
Jace and Gary, you're in.
I'm staying for my final ball to see if I can take my fifer. I wouldn't be surprised. Jamie Overton will be in soon. That's the main thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake, please.
Jamie Overton. We haven't even gotten to the spin yet.
We're still on the power play.
Salt is still there. Curran is on his way out. He, of course, got a very good 50 on Saturday. But really, this is desperate for England.
It is a little bit.
I can feel a 60 or 70 all out coming on.
Joy, huh? Well, we'll get a slight night's sleep, eh?
No, we won't. I'm sorry. I just needed something to cheer me up, and this is just dreadful. Well, yeah, but she's gonna have to be really entertaining.
Talk about putting her under pressure.
Oh lordy, what is wrong with England? They play no shots, and then they play a silly shot. Curran then settling down. 2 for 8. Romario Shepherd. He's got a slip. Curran, he bowls to Curran, he bowls a bouncer, but Curran thinks about pulling that and then thinks, oh my god, I'll top edge this down the long leg and we'll be 24 for 5. So he leaves it in the end. 10 overs bowled. That is the power play. It's been an absolute disaster for England. They are 24 for 4. Salt, though, is still there on 11. Curran's just come to the crease. And we shall shortly have some new commentators. But I'll wait for someone to get into position because everyone else is moving. Who's on ball by ball next? Tony. Okay, so he's good. I've got. Well, it's almost empty beer. My beer. Tony is going to move into the jingle chair. Once he's there and can take up commentary duties, I'll bugger off and take my pillow with me. So Jack's gone for 5, Cox for 1, Bethell for a duck, Livingstone for 6. Only Mousley, Overton, Archer, Rashid and Topley to come. It's all yours, Tony. It's all yours.
Romario, wherefore art thou, Romario? Currently, I can tell you he's all over England, who are 24 for 4. That's defended just sort of 3/4 of the way up, off stump by Phil Salt, down towards point. And there is no run. This has been a shocking power play. 2.4 the run rate, 24 in total, 4 wickets, and I am being joined by men of huge, well, just huge, really. One of whom is the inimitable and thus constantly imitated Gary Naylor. Gary.
Gary, yes. West Indies haven't really had to do that much. One good catch, but
flicked for a single, by the way.
Yeah, they just bowl sort of on a 5th or 6th stump line. England play shots outside their eye line, and what happens when you play regularly outside your eye line is you're going to edge some. There's Marcus Trescothick. He used to let them go, didn't he? He used to go across to them. Once it was outside the eye line, he would just withdraw the bat with the Trescothic leave.
Well, he's looking fairly thoughtful at the moment, as thoughtful as you can look behind a pair of mirrored sunglasses, but he certainly...
One gets the feeling he's glowering underneath there.
Well, and he's not going to want to hear this. He always reminds me slightly of Prince Andrew, but there we go.
There's a bit of that.
Round the wicket comes Matthew Ford, who had a cracking game against England last time out here in 2023. He's having another decent game tonight. That was defended. Looks like we've got another super chat, and I'm also joined by the redoubtable, reliable man of the West Country, Jason.
Yes, I am of the West Country, but not for 30 odd years.
Well, you're still of the West Country. You don't stop being from where you're from. Round the wicket comes Ford. That's pushed straight to mid-on though by Sam Curran, who batted beautifully, of course, in the last ODI to keep Livingstone company. Run a ball 50.
Did what he needed
really
to do.
He did very much what he needed to do.
In fact, both players did what they needed to do, which is to see off the dangerous spinners and wait for the pace bowlers, which Livingstone attacked with aplomb.
Well, it might all change, of course. It might all change, but we've already run through the somewhat demoralising stats from a team that is having to bat first here at Barbados. That's nicely flicked. Should get runs, actually, for Curran. He really just pushed it out towards mid-wicket. It beat the first fielder, and they will get a single.
The thing is, they have to wait for it to go past the first fielder, and then once it's gone past the first fielder, then they've missed the chance for the run. Curran has probably got the most orthodox defensive technique in this 11. So if anyone can sort of dig in and sort of sit in the game for 15 overs, go at 3 and over, get England up to a place where they might be able to get to 200, then he might be the man.
Well, 200 that's roundabout where they were last time in 2023. That one smashed past point all the way to the point boundary by Sam Curran, and that was actually a cracking shot. Rather spoilt that over for Ford. He's 1 for 18 from 6.
I mean, Ford's of a pace where you could have a man walking with a red flag in front of him and he wouldn't be too bothered.
Well, like I say, he took 3 for 29 last time when England were bowled out for 206 for 9, or nearly bowled out.
There's more than just pace that matters, of course, but I mean, it does look like you could get on top of him if you really wanted to.
It's 29 for 4, Jason.
But people have been saying that for the whole of the series, and he's always taken 1 or 2 wickets, normally as soon as he comes on to play. Anyway, super chat. Brian in Brisbane sends us some Australian dollars, saying,
wonderful.
Hope my order arrives. Oh, good, there's more goodies coming.
Oh, Brian, you are just beyond belief.
Before the game ends.
Yes.
He's super chatting the fact that he's sending us
food. And he's given us the the ID code to claim it as well.
Okay, whoever goes to the door will need to know that.
Yep. Jay Grover says, England share my life motivation after the
defended. Off the bowling of Alzari Joseph, back to him by Phil Salt, who must be feeling the man from Boddlewy Dan. Didn't he grow up though in Barbados, Phil Salt?
He did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So he should be feeling at home, as did Jacob Bethell. Indeed, hasn't done well. Salt's still there. That's the best we can say. Having opened 12 off 29, watching all sorts of carnage go on at the other end. The one ball that Alzari Joseph got to rear up at Cox was an extraordinary ball. There's no slip in place. That's quite full, and it's just tickled around the corner by Salt. He takes one. They think about 2. They don't, so it'll bring Surrey's finest, although he didn't play that much. Said he didn't play much red ball cricket last year, did he, for Surrey, Sam Curran?
Did a little bit, but he's primarily is a white ball player.
Yeah, he played as much as he was allowed to by England, I think.
Well, it's probably that. Yeah, those stats I'm going to tell you, actually. The average first innings score is pretty low, in the 230s area. Now, that's in 48 games since 1985, when we all know that can be very skewed. But Last year it was just in 3 games, it was 167.
Well,
which isn't very many.
If England can, say, sit in the game for 15, 20 overs, I know it goes
Give
against
himself something to bowl at least.
Against the grain, yeah, and aim at 200.
There is a slip for Curran, who pulls that slightly shorter ball from Alzari Joseph. That did sit up. That did say hit me. And little Sammy unleashed both barrels to pull it to square leg for 4 runs. Uppish, but safe. There was no one out there, and away it went.
It was half tracker. He knows that mid wicket is open, so you've got to put that away. And he did.
I mean, the other stat, Gary, we were talking about was batting first. Last 10 games, it hasn't gone well. A team's only won twice batting first in the last 10 here.
Yeah, there's a whole kind of ethos running through the whole of the England setup these days that they prefer to chase, isn't there?
Well, that's true, but you need to be able to set a total and give yourself a chance. That's defended by Curran to mid-off. There is no run. The run rate's still plodding along, a shade under 3.
I just saw a flash there, and I'm not sure if it was exactly right, but I thought it said 146 kmh. He's not bowling at 146.
Well,
that's Dale staying at his peak.
The ball before he's bowled at 142, so he's bowling at 88, 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, he seems to.
He can be quite quick when he wants to be.
He can, as we said, he's bowled. I would argue the ball of the evening so far, the ball of the day. It's ball of the evening, isn't it? So it's an evening game.
Pretty much the ball of the day.
Well, very much it was a ball of the afternoon. That reared up at poor old Jordan Cox, completely unplayable. That's Fuller pushed by Curran out towards point. He will get a single. Which they jog comfortably, and that's not what, Gary, for my money, they just haven't done quite enough of. Yes, things have been against them. Yes, scoring's been hard. Yes, the West Indies have been right on their game with their tails up, but you've still got to look to manoeuvre the ball and take the 1s and 2s if the boundaries aren't coming.
And I also think the West Indies can afford to attack a little bit. You know, they're conceding singles because a lot of the fielders in the ring are on the boundary. There's no slip. We've seen the ball edge through to the keeper three times. I mean, they've really, and a catch taken at gully. You know, they really should be attacking here.
Well, here comes Alzari Joseph, chain around his neck, jingle jangling, and it's just defended out towards short mid wicket by the salty sea dog, who's still there on a mighty 13 off 31 deliveries. England, after 12, are 35 for 4. Jason
on X, formerly Twitter. Andy Ward says, join me on cricket after 20 overs, if the innings is still going. So he's getting early with the doomed.
If you get a chance, can you pop onto Blue Sky as well while you're hopping?
On me.
There's something about T-shirts from Leah, I think, at some point she wants to have a look at, which we will.
And on YouTube, Leah says, sorry to bring it to be a bit busy, Gary. I'll want to talk to you. Oh dear.
Yes.
That sounds like you're about to be told off, Gary.
No, quite the
reverse.
I
need a word with you. Right,
I'm going to be invited onto a podcast, which I shall very much look forward to.
Any chance to talk, Gary boy? As we know,
I'm sure
it'll be a star. It's going to be a change of bowling. It's going to be this chap now from memory has quite a long and rather good jingle, so I'll try and fade it up and down. That's thrown up outside Curran's off stump. It's Gudakesh Moti. Curran just defends into the offside. Here it is.
From Georgetown, Guyana, where he had his first nets, to his debut against Bangladesh. He ain't no kid, but his face is fresh. An island boy named Gudakesh, who took his chance when spinning the ball in his second.
He throws that one up to Curran, who drives straight to mid-off.
Go, Moti, go, go, go. 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 Moti, good at cash.
He's quite muscly, actually, Gudakesh, as he gets that one to just nip back in a little bit off the pitch to the left-handed Curran, who eases it down to long on and walks a single.
It was a disappointing series against West Indies last summer, but I had an excellent day at, I think, Edgbaston, where I spent the day chatting to Mash, late of this parish, Caribbean Cricket.
Oh yes.
And
Who's out there, I do believe.
is he there?
I think so, because I think I saw a
I
social
think he's
post.
back now.
Yeah,
I think he said he's back. He was doing the first two. Moti comes around the wicket for the right-hander, who again just pushes down to long on. They take another single. Shepherd Fields there.
Who should be saving one. And I said, well, where's this lad been? Because I thought he was really quite good. He was resourceful with the bat, and he spun it, and he had variations, and he was confident. And I got the story that, it's Caribbean cricket development.
This one is driven, beats the dive of the man at short cover, and therefore goes out to the extra cover boundary by Curran, who's counter-attacking for England a little bit here, and has got himself 4 runs.
So it's still possible. It's still possible to get lost between the islands, the nations in that development programme.
Not a lot of turn for Moti. He's giving it some flight. It's defended nicely in front of his off stump by the left-hander Curran. There is no run, and we can go back to the mighty Jace.
Nothing on blue sky at the moment.
That's bizarre.
Joe Grover says, if I can read it.
You can turn that one, angle that one slightly towards you if you like, Jason.
You're like David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth, looking at all these screens, Jason.
Yeah. Oh, he's railing at life basically. So
plenty to rail about. 41 for 4.
Also, Gary Naylor gets a positive shout. Yes, Grand to see Gary Naylor. Let's have none of that guff, or I'll set me horribles on you.
Oh, Joseph to bowl the first ball of his 4th over, which is just angled to sort of gully or shortish backward point. There is no run. It's been tough going for England. The West Indies won the toss. Shy-Hope didn't really hesitate in saying, well, we know what we're going to do. We want to bowl second on this. There is potentially some rain showers forecast. Indeed, it was rain interrupted last year, wasn't it? Hence Duckworth-Lewis finish in the West Indies 4-wicket win.
Is that the only hope for England now, that this game gets rained off before the 20 overs are bowled?
In comes Alzari Joseph. That's defended. Now, to my mind, Gary, and I think you might have been highlighting this earlier, Alzari Joseph seems to have picked up more than a yard or two of pace.
Well, he's always slightly irritated me, and he irritated me last summer particularly because he threw his wicket away on many occasions, and he's got some talent with the bat, but he always looks like he does have 5 mile an hour more in him, but
I get
he doesn't access it at times.
I get the feeling he's very much a rhythm bowler. When everything's right, it will come out at 92, 93 miles an hour.
Nice rhythm at the moment, although that one's pulled slightly uppishly by Curran. It's just wide of Rutherford, who is at short mid-wicket, and they get a, beg your pardon, that was the Salty Sea Dog.
Yeah, he was through the shot a bit early on that, seemed to stick a bit in the pitch, and there is a lot coming up from the bowlers follow through. This pitch must have started a little damp, I would suggest, if you look at how much there is on the bowlers follow through there. So it may become easier to play on through the day, which may have influenced Shy-Hope's decision to insert England.
You're talking about overnight rain, and therefore it will dry and become faster.
Yeah, but I mean, the sun's been on it a while. This is a day-nighter, isn't it, in the Caribbean? So
it is. It's 42 for 4. Hendo took all 4 wickets in his 10-over stint. Nothing yet for me. That's nicely dabbed by Curran. Very fine indeed. There is a fine leg, and again, it's just a strolled single. The run rate has massively climbed to a positively stratospheric 3.1 for England. But they've got to stay in the game. When you've lost 4 early wickets, Gary, you know, if you suddenly lose 3 more, you're pretty much done.
That's why I'm surprised that there aren't more catching fielders for the West Indies. As usual, I look at one-day fields and I wouldn't be able to tell if the score was 43 for 4 or 243 for 4.
Well, we're out the power play. I think 24 for 4 they were in the power play. In comes Joseph, and again, that's a good ball on a good length, well defended by Phil Salt, who knows Barbados pretty well. Born in Bodlwy Dan, a village in Wales with just the one pub, I discovered.
Well, he's
good enough reason to leave it, if you ask me.
He's literally the salt of this earth, isn't he?
Well, we're still waiting for the Salt and Pepper. Michael Pepper, who's out there, of course.
Don't push it, Tony.
Well, we're hoping to get that combination. We're looking at Jamie Overton, who is hoping he'll do a little bit more tonight than he did in the first ODI. That one's defended back to the bowler.
It would be hard to do
Salt.
less.
Well, he didn't bowl. He faced one ball, which if I remember rightly, tried to sweep, didn't he?
He did,
Got pretty plumb LBW. At one point, because I remember with a Bear and Hendo, I'd been driving, so I wasn't drinking. They were quite merry, despite England's plight. And at one point we went, has he actually touched the ball in the field either?
I didn't recall it.
Well, he did at one point, but only about once or twice, if that.
Did he complain about paying his subs at the end of the day?
Well, he might well have done. Moti is going to continue. He has been quite expensive by all other standards. His first over went for 6. Highest win in percentage in chases. Yeah, Bridgetown much higher than North Sound, Bengaluru, Chennai or Ahmedabad. Defended nicely. Down to long on, but they'll get another single.
Why would you not have that man saving one with the score at 44 for 4?
Make him play a dangerous shot over the
top. Or save the one.
It is all the 4s, as you heard, 44 for 4. England, where was it 24 for 4 after the power play? I think
Something
it was,
like
wasn't
that,
it? Yeah. That one's a little bit uppish, but
Again,
it bumbles its way down to long off. I beg your pardon. They'll take another single.
Yeah.
See, England are just getting the beginnings of a foothold here because West Indies are just conceding the easy singles.
It's very much a toehold. This is what.
But you still do have fielding restrictions to consider.
No, but just
even
bring
though
the man in.
not the same.
They're minimums, not maximum. So you can have as many as you want, saving one and catching
This
positions.
is true. Yes, that is true to a certain extent. That one is defended by Curran.
They've got a slip.
And they do, as Gary rightly points out, have a slip. That's the first dot ball of this Gudikesh Moti over. And he's in consultation and discussion with his spin bowling partner, the great Roston Chase. Thrown up, defended in front of his off stump by Sam Curran, who's playing intelligently, playing sensibly, playing defensively, not looking to get after things at all, because he probably really can't at the moment.
He's got something of Shane Warne across the shoulders, hasn't he, Moti? Not as big.
Thrown up, again defended. Moti looking to work those, the left armour looking to work the right arm bowler's foot marks, of which there seem to be plenty.
Yeah,
Gary.
indeed.
But nothing's really turned much for Moti at all. He's relied more on flight.
He's got big rolling shoulders, hasn't he, Moti?
Well, in he rolls, that's defended out into the offside. They take a single.
He can count to 6.
So he's gone none for 9. We're going to have a little drinks break, which, with the score on 48 for 4, is it? Is going to give Jason heaps of time to run through your messages.
Yeah, Jay Grover says, I'm a legend on the waterfront. P Company.
Directed by Elia Kazan, am I right, Gary?
Yeah, I saw a play about him and Arthur Miller a couple of weeks ago.
Carl Malden, wasn't Carl Malden in on the water?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Obviously Marlon Brando.
Linux there says,
Eva Marie Saint.
Don't take Tony too
still
seriously.
Alive.
Gary, I like to pull your leg. I may disagree with you on some things, but I genuinely like you.
And I like you, and it's good fun.
Oh, it's a bit
and
of a
Jacob tells Leah, don't encourage him.
Who is not to be encouraged?
Gary.
Oh, Gary, right.
Yes, indeed.
And
busy season coming up for Gary. Pantomime season. All kinds of stuff going on before
Few
Christmas.
things going on.
Yeah.
And Jacob takes me to task saying borrables, not horribles. Gary introducing them to me means that he can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yes, it's a young adult novel before we knew that such things existed, and splendid read.
And Leah says the Blue Sky thread should be up now, Jason. Yes, the one where you show the picture of your podcast is definitely up. I haven't got it on here, but it is on the Blue Sky feed.
Right, okay.
And who's this at the end?
Is it worth getting...
Ranjit
Go on.
says England playing like Bangladesh. They slow lose 8 wickets today.
46 for 4 is the score. So no sign of those showers yet. We're going to have a little run through the wickets.
Well, here's a shower for a start.
Absolute shower.
Jack's got one that possibly nibbled away. The one that got Jordan Cox just reared up, as Henry Blofeld used to say, like a kicking horse, and took his glove. And Shy Hope comfortably
Not
did the
what
rest.
you want when you are searching desperately for
Bethell,
it.
you could say, was unlucky. He looked to cut really backward a point, but the man at gully was Roston Chase, who is tall, and he took an absolute worldie of a catch. Livingstone, he went in similar manner to Jack's, driving outside of off stump rather loosely.
Well, we've been discussing this in the green room before we came on air, and Livingstone, we said that innings on Saturday was probably an innings for the year for him. We won't see another one of his like again. But,
Well, yeah,
for a
this-
while. But we were hoping against expectation, and unfortunately, our expectations have been found to be reasonably accurate.
There's like what we are watching during the drinks break. There's sort of a stage area and a beach. On which is I can only describe it as a
Mr.
sort of a
Motivator.
local Barbadian Mr. Motivator, who seems to be guiding some English fans through a series of hip swivels and leg kicks.
I haven't seen a hip swivel like that since...
A bit of bump and grind there.
Yeah, the early 70s Italian film star Adriano Celentano, I think his name was. He was known for his hip swivels.
Was he?
I think it's Adriano Celentano. I'm sure in Twitterland somebody will put me right.
We're also watching Alzari Joseph, who seemed to have a right cob on about something, but we're not quite sure
Was he
what
told
it
by
was.
Shy Hope to have a timeout?
Yes, he was. He was. He's getting. He got himself really, really angry and was effectively told to go and calm down.
Sit on the naughty step.
So, well, basically,
Calm down,
that's pretty
calm
much
down.
what happened. Right.
Calm down.
Alzari Joseph is going to be bowling from the Malcolm Marshall end. He's only gone for 10 off his 4 overs. He's got that wicket of Jordan Cox with that fierce rising ball that completely took Cox and indeed us by surprise. And in he comes, his chainer jangling into Sam Curran, swings into him, and he's defended right in front of his middle stump by Sam Curran. And again, there is no run.
Well, they got mid-off saving one now, so maybe they've got together over drinks and said, look, we don't need to have all these fielders way out.
Someone's relayed our coverage to them.
Evidently.
I have to say, Sam Curran, compared to Phil Salt, is absolutely motoring along. 17 off 20.
He's put the 4 balls away, hasn't he? He's had a couple of loose deliveries, short and wide. And
the
he's
Salty Sea Dog, 16 off 38.
the Pirate of the
He
Caribbean.
is pretty slow. As this one is pushed back to the bowler. Maybe the dancer guy was doing Pilates of the Caribbean.
Very good.
There's a pool as well, of course. Now, in some ways it looks inviting, but you just wonder...
Not with that many people in it.
With that many people in it, and an awful lot of beer being consumed, at some point you start to wonder,
You do.
where does that beer go if they don't get out the pool for a
You
while?
just slightly wonder whether there should be a bit of sunblock on some of those pasty torsos.
Oh, there is. I mean, there is. The chap clearly won't be listening to us, and he does very much have the beached whale look about him. That one is defended into the ground. Curran took half a step forward, and actually they're going to get overthrows. It was pushed out
Sloppy.
Forced out to point. Alzari Joseph. He's now
he's going to have a cob on.
Absolutely. If he had a cob on before, he's got another one on now.
Well, he's got a justified one this time.
Because they weren't going to run. There was no one backing up the throw. The throw came in. Curran would have got back, but then he thought, well, right, I can run now anyway. And they did come through for a single. Alzari Joseph has got a face like a slapped arse. He looks so angry, and he does, as we pointed out, have some justification on that occasion, Gary.
What I don't...
Oh, look at that. Now, There is absolutely no doubt what Alzari Joseph was saying there.
And it started with, and it said rhymes with duck.
Well, it does. It's like the bear doing elocution lessons there. So we can have another look.
What's Curran doing?
Curran is desperate to get runs going.
I know, but he called Salt through. They would not have crossed on the previous delivery that went for the overthrow. It was that suicidal run.
It was Kesey Carty this time.
And now he's backing up such a long way with a ball that's just hit to the man saving one mid-off.
And he's gone here.
And he would have been out
well,
with a direct hit.
I think
unbelievable.
I think the concern there, Curran had gone set off, had to turn back. He would have been out by a country mile. And Carty tried to break the stumps with a 100-mile-an-hour throw. All he needed to do was roll it towards the stumps, and it would have done the job.
But
poor old Alzari,
who's an experienced player.
In comes. He'll be fired up. That one is short. And when he bowls it short, he gets pulled by Phil Salt. But down to backward square, just a single.
He's an experienced player. He's played around the world. He's played franchise leagues. That's not another overthrow.
It is another overthrow. Now, if Alzari Joseph was ticking, he's just walking away.
We need the circus music.
Down.
We need the circus music.
Hopefully, we've still got that.
Yep. But you can see the steam coming out of Alzari Joseph's ears now. He's absolutely fuming.
Can I find
but
it
this
somewhere?
is such bad cricket. It's bad cricket from the West Indies. It's bad cricket. That sounds like the interior monologue in Alzari Joseph's head.
I found Yakati Zak, and this one is defended by Salt out towards cover. It's the end of the over. It's the 16th over. It's 49 for 4. A recovery of sorts from England, and we can go back to Jace the Ace.
The next layer says, I should probably plug my live coverage of the Board of Gavaskar more. I have secured well-known GC radio and wireless commentators, as well as Australian YouTube history of everything. Yes, you should.
Very good.
As long as it doesn't coincide with our coverage. We're very happy to support other people doing much the same thing, as long as they don't impinge on...
Well, I'm watching Alzari Joseph, who's captivating my attention, because if you see a man who quite literally is about to explode. We're seeing the film of him going off earlier.
Sure, I think he's going off again, you know.
Or is this live? If this is live, it's the second time.
I think Shai Hope is not pleased with the attitude.
He's got a point. I mean, that is comically bad fielding that's costing runs in a match that's important.
Well, yeah, Alzari's got a point. I agree with you. Alzari Joseph does have a point, but the wider context is that it's the skipper's job
it's not good team dynamics.
It's the skipper's job to admonish the field, not the bowlers.
Quite right. Gudakesh Moti, and that, by the way, folks, is one of these.
That was a dubious point, made with hyperbolic conviction.
We haven't heard this one for ages.
By Gary.
Yeah, you've heard plenty to provoke it, though.
The run rate just over 3. Gudakesh Moti is going to be bowling from the Joel Garner end. We're getting plenty of drone shots of gorgeous yellow sand and the sea gently rolling in.
Empty beaches, though.
Empty beaches.
Where are the tourists?
We need to repurpose the jingle to be Gary's angry.
Yeah, me, the new Manny.
The new Manny.
I knew.
Well, a new man.
I knew.
I feel like a new Manny.
I knew it was coming. I knew I'd become Manny sooner or later.
Right. Well, 49 for 4. England on the cusp at least of a milestone, at least of 50. And that one should bring it up for them, because Curran plays it off the back foot, a punch down to long on, who's very deep set to Gary's frustration.
Get the man in.
Get him in.
And they take an easy single, and the 50 for England
Curran's
is up.
Curran's playing everything off the back foot and just working it. No, he can't run a quick single to the man if he didn't.
Balls. Am I right? We haven't had that. 70 dot, but can't be 70 dot balls.
Great to see.
Round the wicket comes Moti. Oh, he's flicked that up onto leg, and Salt, instead of putting it away, just eases it along the ground to short mid wicket. And again, there is no run. The Salt is becalmed.
He needs to do some mining of runs.
We saw that very gentle waves lapping in to the beach. Well, Salt is becalmed here in the Caribbean. That's guided out to deep cover. They will take a single.
He's in the doldrums.
At least.
Yeah,
He is in the doldrums.
Yeah.
We're in the doldrums. The world's in the doldrums.
What's nice is that there's a big video scoreboard looking very 21st century, you know, on one side. But on the other side of the ground, the expression that they have in the Caribbean of 50 put on the tins was literally being put on the tins.
In comes Moti. That one is driven a little bit more strongly by Curran. But there's a man at deep extra cover, and they will just take 3 off this over from Moti.
It may not be tin metal as the little slides went in, but it's some kind of metal. So Michael Holding always used to talk about being on the tins, and yes, that's for Annie.
Well, Josh Butler is going off for a net. I don't know who a net is, but that's where he's going, as that one is cut to backward point. Umpire rifle ducks under the throw. Josh Butler is going, what a shambles, what is going on here? I'd better get some batting practice in.
Because I'm going to be replacing Jordan Cox.
Because there is every chance he'll be back and opening, we think, for the T20s.
Alzari's coming on.
Doesn't look like he's walking that easily. Alzari Joseph is back on. They don't give him long on the naughty step, do they, to calm down? That one is cut to deep point. They take a single. The score moves on to 54 for 4 after 17. It's pedestrian stuff, lively stuff from the West Indies, the good and the bad, to be fair. Some shocking overthrows and lazy fielding when they were so on the money earlier, but England very much under the pump. Jace.
Leah says, I hope An India finds the time to drop in for a stint on his YouTube podcast.
Well, Anindo's got a podcast as well now, has he? The world's got a podcast.
Mousley is with us. He says, I'm sure that jingle harks back to the days of a previous commentary show. Yes, it does.
Back to the sofa. Yeah, I think it does. Right. We are going to see Balder Pate lavished with sun cream on his cheeks, somewhat bearded.
Here comes the reverb.
It is. Yeah, we love this jingle. A man who does sound a bit like a village in Somerset. I can't find him. Where's he gone?
They're in batting order generally, so look at the bottom of the...
Here he is. It's this chap.
Rust on cheers.
Defended along the ground back to him by Curran. There's no run. He's bowling from the Malcolm Marshall end is Rustan. I just don't want to turn this one down because I love it. In he skips. There's hardly any run up at all for Roston. He's got one of the most economical actions you'll ever see in a slow bowler.
Well, it harks back to
guided down to deep.
Carl
they do
Hooper,
take a single.
who had very much of a similar sort of rock up into it and just roll his arm over.
That's an excellent economy rate. Under 5. If you're going under 5, you're doing pretty well in white ball cricket.
Yeah, you're dead right.
He's got great control and he knows what he's doing.
Didn't he make a century against England in a test?
He did.
Quite early in his career. Yes, he did. Indeed he did. Right. Well, he's coming over the wicket. He does have a slip. That's off break that cuts back into Salt, who sort of muscled it really down to long on, and he will get a single.
Yeah, there's plenty of caprice in this pitch. I mean, that did stick in the pitch. It barely sort of bounced towards Salt, and he waited and still couldn't time it.
Slow pitches, as we've said before, are kryptonite to England by and large. Slow pitches and batting first. Really do not agree with the way England go about their job. Still a slip to the left-hander as well. That's thrown up wide of his off stump by Curran, who chooses to leave it.
Yeah, that's wise. That's what I was hoping he would do, and not get tempted with those shots outside the eye line, because that's been another element of kryptonite.
Well, I'm going to ask you this in a second, Gary. That one is defended again by Curran, but he'll get a single because there is that man languishing.
So many runs
too
conceded.
Deep, as Gary will, I'm sure, point out. What do we think, gentlemen, then, is a halfway decent score? Anything approaching 200 is something to bowl at, I would argue.
Yeah, 200. I think England are in the game at 200.
I think England need probably 240 on this.
Well, if you think that's low, like I said, 167 last year was the average first innings score. That one's defended into the offside. They do take a single. Curran motoring along on 23 off 29. He's overtaken Phil Salt. Phil Salt 22 off 46. But Phil Salt, to his credit, clearly feels I need to stick here and I'll be here at the end. And if I get the chance to accelerate later, it's because Sammy Curran stayed here with me.
Yeah.
Or he's thinking everything will be all right when Jamie Overton gets in. But probably he isn't. 58 for 4 with 18 overs complete. Chase.
Muttley asks Leah, are you covering Britain's Got Talent? And he responds,
What?
No, when talking about the podcast.
Oh.
And Leah says, no, I promised Mog Gorilla Croquet, which reminds me of the very short-lived experience of doing gorilla dressage.
Oh, that would have been brilliant. That one is thrown up from round the wicket by Gudakesh Moti. Again, a man very deep at long on, so they take an easy single.
You know what we're in? We're in
the boring middle overs.
We're in the boring middle overs.
Well, yeah, normally in the BMOs, you like to think, A, it's not the middle overs because we haven't reached 20 yet. B,
well, if we're not in it,
just
we're
59
in a
on the board. We are, as we said earlier, in the doldrums. There is a lack of wind in England's sails, that is for sure.
The doldrums in the Caribbean. I know the Bermuda Triangle. No, the Bermuda's not. Hendo's an expert
either
on
north
them.
of or south of, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone in the green room can tell us where are the doldrums. Well, I thought the doldrums is that. Is it actually an area?
Sargasso Sea is in the Atlantic, isn't it?
Yeah.
In comes Moti, throws that up. That's launched by Curran. Have some of them apples, he says. I've had enough of this. Slightly overpitched, given more air by Moti, and he was thumped high and handsome over deep extra for 4 runs. And that was a lovely shot.
Well, unlucky
for
Moti, I think.
It's over long off.
Because that missed the footmarks by about 6 inches.
Yeah, and he didn't exactly time it, didn't he? Even though he made it into a half volley.
That one's pushed again. There'll be that man too deep. Trop profond, as they would say in French, and it's an easy single.
They have got a sort of like a wide on Hayden now to try and cut that out.
Yeah. But they need to do it because apart from anything else, England have got a lefty and a righty in here, and no bowler likes having to switch their lines. And England have got some very easy singles.
Well, just as well they have for them. That one's driven. Sharp piece of fielding down to his right by the bowler. Moti off his own bowling, of course.
2 catching fielders.
6 from the over, none for 20. He's been the more expensive of all the West Indies bowlers so far. What's he got? Round the wicket he comes. Defended by Salt. And I think, is that Alzari Joseph, who's now back in action? He's the man at short mid-wicket. Sent off. I think he's been up twice, gone to calm himself down because he was so wired up and angry about some overthrows. That's defended to mid-off, no run. Dan Mousley, Jamie Overton, and then who was next? Was it Rashid after that?
Well, there's...
it's the end of that over anyway. It's 19 overs complete, 64
Joffre.
for 4. Joffre, of course, yes. Who would have, I think, Alzari Joseph and some of the predictable bounce and lift that he was getting and probably feeling encouraged.
So
he's going to have to bowl out of his skin at 64 for 4.
Is he the third Bayesian-born or raised man in this side?
I think so. Bethell, Archer and Salt. I don't think Salt wasn't born.
No, but he was.
But he was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil Salt was raised in Barbados, as you rightly point out. Yeah. So you'd think this England team would be quite at home. They're not looking very at home at the moment. It's been most inhospitable for them. And that one is well defended, pushed quite straight by Curran. There will be that man at a very long on, and they'll take a single.
Whoa, we're losing in Barbados.
There's Captain Tobias Naylor.
Hint, jinglers.
65, too obvious. Our jinglers are subtle, refined, clever, cunning, arch. They rarely go for the absolute obvious unless I ask them to, in which case Moggs sometimes cedes to my request, but I always sense a deep sigh and reluctance when I go, I'd better do one or two that he wants. As that one's worked away to square leg, they do take another single.
I don't want to be an off driver.
I do all my life.
All my life.
I am relieved, Gary, you didn't attempt the faux Caribbean accent.
No,
I definitely
I
be
didn't.
best.
But I noticed that The Harder They Come is on tour, the stage musical version of Jimmy Cliff's brilliant film.
And that one's defended again. Nicely done by Curran. If this was a test match, he'd be going a solid defence like that.
It really is a fantastic film, and I have seen the stage show about 15 years ago, and it's also wonderful.
Great song too. Harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all. That's certainly been the way with wickets for England, as that one is again down to a man. It's Roston Chase, who's at a very long on. And once more, the camera is zooming in to the angry, boiling.
It's
Alzari Joseph. Yes.
I can tell you, Tony, that great though that song is, it's not the high point musically of the show, which I'll come to in a moment.
Well, in that case, I'm intrigued. Roston Chase, in he skips over the wicket. Off break, just enough turn. Defended, easy single.
There are
which is then, Gary?
Loads of great songs, but the absolute spine chiller was Many Rivers to Cross.
There's another beautiful song. Yep. Right, it's the last ball of our stint, chaps.
It is. There should be a thundering herd of people to come in.
I think
Gary,
I'm
Andy
switching
and
across
Endo.
with yourself, Tony.
Then we're going to get a bit of Annie and not Fred. There's a marriage made in not necessarily heaven. As we wait.
Just marriage and convenience.
Around the wicket comes Roston Chase. It's defended back to him by Sam Curran. At the end of 20 overs, England are 68 for 4 with Salt on 25, Sam Curran on 30. Jace, why don't you do some socials while we all manoeuvre about?
Okay. There isn't much on socials, to be fair. No doldrums, just lack of cricket, I think, says there's lots of that around, Gary. Okay, and Gary doing his best Hendo impression has just destroyed part of the studio. Leah says, aren't the doldrums part of the equatorial district? I think they are. Jaguar says something about just lack of wind. I think yes, they are as well. I'm still waiting for people to come in and relieve me.
Yeah, I'm sorry I've just demolished something there, but this the number of wires under my feet are beyond my ability to navigate. So 20 overs gone, 68 for 4. And it is Romario Shepherd who's in, and he's lifted handsomely all the way for the first one of these. And I want the congratulations.
Oh,
that's the first activity.
Just a big fat short arm jab, that wasn't it? All the way to the fence. Pretty good hit. Not that much wrong with the ball, but this is very gentle medium pace here. I'm not saying I'd be able to hit it for 4, but you know, he hit it for 6. So 50 is up for the partnership off 62 balls. Doesn't look like they're going as fast as that, but they have been able to milk the singles. And it's Phil Salt is in again, and this is cut hard into the ground where it's fielded at backward point. And he is now run. And Annie, I think you're...
I'm being Hendo, apparently.
You're being Hendo?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, yeah, much more welcome presence than the Hendo, I can tell you, in here. It's great to have you in person, because often you're down the line, aren't you?
I know, this is so exciting to be in the studio. And every time I come in, it's something slightly different. So I'm not quite... this, I presume, is YouTube.
It's all mysterious to me, I'm afraid. Okay. As Shepherd's in, this is wide outside off stump, and it's slashed. Sort of, you get into a position that's going to sweep, but then you just slash the ball wide to the man who is sweeping on the offside, and they jog the easiest of singles. Salt goes to 32. He's now ahead of Curran. It's like one of those Olympic yachting races, you know, where kind of one team goes slightly ahead of the other, and then the other team goes slightly ahead. Skulls, isn't it? Or
Yeah. I've got Jason's arse in my face at the moment.
well, people will pay good money for that. It's if you're thinking that you're rather muddling through at the moment at guerrilla cricket, believe me, we are muddling through. And here is Romario Shepherd, and this is on the stumps to Curran, and he always plays with a very compact technique and a vertical bat. Can't get it past the man at short mid-wicket, and there is no run. What's a good score, Annie? What's a good score?
Not this one.
No, very good.
Yeah,
not this one.
Not this one. So, what we had, 20 overs, 75. I mean, they need to get 280, I'd say.
Oh, 280. I think they bite your left arm off the 280.
Yeah, well.
This is pushed backward of square, and there is no run. I think it's going to be quite difficult chasing
You
on this
reckon it's going to be like...
well, I think if England can get 200, I think they're in the game. I think that's the tipping point. If England get more than 200, I'd have them as slight favourites, because this pitch is offering nothing to the batters. They've got to make all the pace with it. And England have got a lot of dibbly-dobblers, a lot of bowling options, and somebody is going to have a good day.
What other batting have we got apart from...
Well, there's Mousley, to come, and there's Overton, and there's...
Overton not
this
just in as a
ball
batter.
is short and gets up a little bit and goes through to the keeper. That's a bouncer at 129 clicks, so it's hardly the most threatening. It's the end of the over. Salt has 32, Curran has 30. And we have your social media. If you can, I don't know if you can read it from there, Annie, but
no, I can't.
You might have to improvise.
Oh no, Annie, your pizza on the armrest. I know. It's not right, is it?
Oh, there's Andy as well. Andy, we'll bring you in after Annie's done a tweet or two. Annie and Andy, oh dear.
Is Andy supposed to be doing the social media, or is it me?
It is Andy on the socials.
So Andy on the socials.
Yes, I think it is, from what I can read here. Andy on the socials and Hendo on summarising. But you're Hendo. You've already told me that.
I am, but I cannot hear Andy.
No, Andy, have you got your mute on? It's the traditional question for online meetings and the likes of the Zoom here. None of us can hear you, Andy. We'll leave you to settle that, and we'll persist with the with Roston Chase, whose head is quite a sight to behold.
Jay Grover says, I don't think I could get any more sickened by the world today, but don't let Annie on socials! Or Gary, come to think of it. I'll just walk away.
I can't even read them. The screen is just too far away. So there's a man at silly mid-on. There's a shortish mid-wicket, shortish extra cover, but there's no slip. Roston Chase has conceded 8 from his 2 overs. He's bowling from the Malcolm Marshall end, and he tosses this one up, and it's driven half-heartedly, but because there's such an easy concession of a single to this inexplicably long off, Phil Salt takes it. England go to 76 for 4. Andy, I don't know whether anybody else can hear you. We can't. No, still can't. I don't know whether the...
I'll go and find out from the other guys.
See if the bear can press a button or two. In the meantime, guerrilla cricket, rather like England cricket, has fallen apart a bit today, but it is being rebuilt by Sam Curran, left-handed, and he just punches this yet again down the ground where there's the easiest of singles on offer. It's Gudakesh Moti who is fielding that, and it's taken. I've told Andy that we can't hear him, and I'm not sure what's to be done. Bear, I'm going to have to ask you just to thank you as Chase over the wicket, off breaks right arm, and would you believe he's just punched down the ground for the easiest of singles. Andy's all lined up in a very impressive check shirt, and he's got a headset and integrated mic. It's all perfectly great, except it
We just can't hear
seem
him.
to work.
Mm.
Curran back on strike, left-handed. Round the wicket comes Roston Chase, and no spin at all for him there. And Curran goes back. It's such a slow pitch that he can play off the back foot. If there is any spin, he has plenty of time to cover it. And there is no run.
It's quite an impressive partnership between these two now.
Well, they've got themselves back in the game,
Yep.
and that's just to take on the pad there is Curran. No shout of LBW because it was well outside off stump. He's been notably reticent to chase the ball outside off. I think he will later. Slap through the offside, but in general he's given the bowlers plenty of respect, as he should do, rebuilding an innings. This is on middle stump. He goes back and he just punches that into the space at mid-wicket, and they walk the easiest of singles, and not much going on in that over. It was a boring middle over, 4 singles, 4 from it, 22 overs gone, 79 for 4. Annie?
There's a lot of boring middle overs people talk about, but I find every over interesting myself. Yeah, I'll just have a look at the socials because I still don't think we're getting anything from Andy yet. So,
I just, sorry, Annie, I just wonder if someone wants to come in for Andy and talk in this room, if you can hear me in the green room, and maybe bring Andy back in for the next set of 10.
Mousley says, are there any little men trampling all over Annie's pizza? I don't know, actually. There probably are. Ranji Rawat says, how weather in England? Rain or winter? It's not very nice, actually, but it's not that cold.
It's not cold at
No.
all. It's positively balmy.
Leah says, Andy, consider this an intervention. Stop following Crypto Brothers and don't retreat the Babylon Beavers.
This is short from Malzari Joseph, and it's just helped to deep square, and they walk another single. Do you remember the Beezer comic, Annie?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember the numbskulls were in
Yes,
the Beezer?
yes, those little things with
they
yeah.
were little men who
They were.
lived inside heads and sort of manipulated the body parts. I'm not sure it was physiologically accurate, but it was a good strip cartoon. So I wonder if those little men that are on the
actually
armrest
walking on my pizza
are related to the numbskulls. This is wide outside off stump, and it's mistimed by Phil Salt, who's faced 57 balls, but still couldn't time that, and it dropped just short of the man who now is saving one on the offside.
We've got Bear here, and Andy's come back, but still not got any sense of him.
Rather like some of the books I've bought recently, he's inaudible.
Do you actually listen to Audible?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I've got John Cooper Clarke's biography that I'm listening to intermittently.
Is he saying?
It's all in that accent.
Blimey.
So I don't know if the Bear's in. So
well, I'm just going to say I might reset Zoom.
Okay, this ball is just pushed. Well, not so much pushed. The face to deep third, and England continue with these milk singles. I don't know what the record is for the number of singles in a score of 81 for 4, but I suspect we're quite close to it.
This one might be close to it. Oh. We're just seeing.
This is Sam Curran holding out in the first ODI to long on, a mistake he will not want to replicate in this match, as Romario Shepherd is in, and this is helped. Short ball, it's just helped round the corner, fielded at fine leg, and would you believe it, another single. Romario was one of my favourite footballers of the 80s and 90s, played for PSV Eindhoven, the Brazilian
Why was
genius.
he your favourite?
He found space where there was no space to find. He was a little squat guy. He did have a turn of speed, but he was just about the coolest and most effective one-on-one finisher I think there's ever been in world football.
Did you model yourself on him?
I didn't model myself on him, and he's done something else which is interesting, which is this is cut again to the man who is sweeping, this time on the offside, because it was the right-handed Salt, not the left-handed Curran. And they're through for a single. He became a politician in Brazil, and I'm pretty sure he's moved from left to right. So I think he'll be.
As everyone in Brazil.
Yeah, I think he'll. Well, he'll say he's he's moving with the
times.
With the times, yeah.
We won't talk about politics today.
No, I don't think we should. I don't think we should.
No, because there's quite a lot of shit going on.
You can say that.
Can I?
Yes, you can, and you did.
I did, yeah.
So here is around the wicket is slightly muscle-bound Mario Shepherd. This is punched aerially, and I think the man out there, who might be Gudakesh Moti, I'm not sure, seems to have fielded every ball in this over. And they're through for 8 singles. So it went single dot, single, 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 single.
And you'll call it another boring middle over.
I will call it another boring, and you'll say it's another interesting over, full of intrigue and suspense.
Singles are never boring to me. You know, I can't see socials because Bear's on his little. Bear's doing his technical stuff.
Open heart surgery. Zoom here from the Bear.
Bear, what would life be without you? It would be tricky, he says. Yeah, it would be tricky.
No, I'm not sure it would. There's a stand there that is like the ugliest stand in world cricket, which is the Old Trafford temporary stand they put up.
I was going to say, I don't remember that.
In Barbados? No, neither do I.
No.
Seems a little surplus to requirements for this match.
Certainly is for this match, yeah.
Boston Chase, no relation to Wimbledon Chase. And
how do you know that?
True. As this ball is punched, would you believe it, for a single, this time courtesy of a sloppy bit of fielding at extra cover, and through for 1. So both batsmen are locked on 36. It's amazing how partnerships develop and the batsmen sort of
stay together.
Yeah. It's amazing how often that happens.
I know.
Salt, the right-hander, is in. He goes wide on the crease this time, does Ruskin Chase. A bit of angle into the legs of Phil Salt, but Salt just punches it back, and it's fielded by Chase off his own bowling.
I suppose you'd say these two are sort of old hands now, almost, aren't they?
These days, yeah. He goes back this time to Phil Salt, but he can only find the man at backward point. I think Ruston Chase, he's a lithe, thin man, isn't he? He reminds me a bit of the Microsoft Office assistant. You know, that paperclip? There's something of the paperclip about him, isn't there?
Well, look, I suppose the limbs are similar.
Yeah, and there's an angularity, or rather the curve of the spine and everything else, as this ball is pushed to extra cover. And as boring middle overs go, I would say
this is quite boring.
I would say it is at the apex, who are the sponsors of the West Indies team. It is the apex of boring middle overs. We can't hear Andy, I'm afraid. This is Fuller. But it goes back to Phil Salt when he should have come forward, and instead of driving it through the covers, if he'd come forward, he's compelled to push it back to the bowler off the back foot, and we get another dot.
So you see, my thoughts are each over. I mean, it's exciting because there's a limited amount.
This ball is pushed back to the bowler. It's the end of it. There's just one run from it. Yes, Annie?
They're serving their purpose by not, they're keeping the runs down, and it's quite exciting.
Well, I should be wary of complaining of boredom, because tomorrow I'm at the Royal Opera House. 3 hours 35 minutes of Tales of Hoffmann.
Okay.
Offenbach. It's a great opera.
Well,
3 hours 35.
Yeah, but it will fly by. You see, I quite, if something's good, it's worth.
That's true.
It's worth taking its time over.
Most of the time,
you don't want quick wham bam, thank you, man.
No, you don't. No. But, I mean, you can have long airs in opera. Some would say that Wagner consists entirely of long airs, but no, I mean, I've seen it before a couple of times. It's a great opera, and it's very spectacular, and obviously the different tales.
Are you writing about it?
I am.
Right.
I am, and I've agreed to review Carlos Acosta's Cuban Nutcracker next month.
Oh,
which I'm
wow, that
very
sounds
much
amazing.
Looking forward to that.
No,
it has a Cuban score, takes Tchaikovsky and gives it a Havana twist, which I'm looking forward to very much. Yeah. So it's Sam Curran, who is looking for a bit of a Bridgetown twist.
Oh, nicely fielded.
Is it Bridgetown in Barbados?
Yeah,
I think
Bridgetown,
it is, but not nicely fielded, because we should tell you the shot first, which was a swivel pull down to square leg, and an attempt at relay fielding, which didn't work.
But he did stop it. It could have gone for a boundary.
It could have gone for a boundary, but it was an entirely unnecessary bit of throwing to your mate who didn't catch it right. It was Ford, wasn't it, the bowler, who then failed to pick it up. I mean, this really does need that circus music. Well,
it's got it. It's got it, hasn't it?
87 for 4. This is such poor quality cricket. It really is. I'm sorry to report that. As I don't know how many overthrows have been conceded. And Sam Curran gets a leg side delivery, which is a poor ball again.
Yeah, very
and
poor
just
ball.
helps it to fine leg, and they're through for 1. We've got the thumbs up from the bear. I don't know whether that brings Andy in or not. He's looking pensive there.
Oh, Andy's gone now.
No, he's back.
No.
We still can't hear you, Andy. It's a shame because your positive approach to white ball cricket, which I know you enjoy so much, is much needed, because this isn't the greatest white ball we've ever seen. This is hit hard, but it's off the edge, but it's a thickish edge, and would you believe it, it goes to backward point, and would you believe it, would you believe it, would you believe it?
It's one of those.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Yes, it was a length ball, and he just threw his hands through it, did Phil Salt there. If you get enough bat on it, even though it's uppish, it was never likely to be caught, and a fielder jogs round. I don't think he'd have got to it anyway, but there's a certain lethargy in the field from the West Indies, which shouldn't be, because they're doing very well. This is full, and that's a kind of Ben Duckett shot in reverse, where the batsman went down and sort of drove it off his knees, if you like, backward at point.
We've got a very
but
jolly
single-
looking not Fred coming in. And we're
there's
changing
there's a mic swap. There's a mic swap. This is like Bucks Fizz at the end of Making Your Mind up here.
I've got a different for some no apparent reason, but I'm very happy with this one.
Well, I'm pleased to see it. We'll give you the score in a moment once it's back on the screen, and it is 92 for 4. Distractions continue here. It's hit hard uppishly, but it goes out to point, where it's fielded, and the easiest of singles is taken.
Hello,
25 overs gone, halfway through the innings. Oh no, there's still one ball to come, so we can greet Fred. How are you, not Fred?
Marvellous.
Are you in for Andy, or are you in because it's your time?
I'm in because Hendo's eating pizza.
Yeah, I'm in because Hendo's eating pizza as well, I think.
Priorities.
He said he couldn't get up to come in here because of his back, and then somebody mentioned there was garlic bread, and you should have seen him zip across the room.
Yeah, he threw himself off
I
the
can't think
sofa.
of those famous steeplechasers.
Arkle.
Well, I was thinking of the human steeplechaser.
Bob Champion. This is punched hard by Sam Curran. There is a man sweeping on the cover boundary, and the ball is returned. We'll just check out the overthrows, and there aren't any, a rare occurrence. So we are at the halfway point in the England innings. 94 for 4. Salt has 41. Curran has 40. England in a rebuilding.
I've got some.
We've got some.
I've managed to.
Annie, please.
You know, I'm thinking outside the box, and I thought I'll look at YouTube on my phone. So here we are. So
what's in the YouTube comments box?
Adrian Bourne says Annie neck chain in the V. I'm not sure what that means. And Annie on the beer. Well, yes, I've got beer. Jay Grover said private. No, we're going to go there.
So there aren't that many messages then.
Lucky Six says, can I hire you guys to organise a piss up in a brewery?
Well,
kidding.
I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
The bear's available.
And Pirate Basher says, do love a good audiobook, though mine are liberated rather than from Audible.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Oh, I
check
got
that out.
liberated. Is that?
I don't know.
No.
No. I'm happy to learn.
Maybe it just means he's nicked them.
And Tony, this is important, says a massive thank you to Brian for the pizzas being hungrily devoured as we speak, apart from the one that's on the arm of my chair, which I'm trying to eat every now and again.
Well, I can advise you that when Gary starts a sentence, you've got about 12 or 13 minutes.
Yeah, I could actually eat the whole bloody pizza, couldn't I?
Not now, because Hendo's...
Dear.
Hendo's eaten most of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the chase is on, which is somewhat ironic because the chase is not on because it's the first innings of the match, but it's the Ruston chase who is on, bowling to the left-handed Curran, who's on 40. He's round the wicket, and this is defended immaculately. And Shai Hope jumps in the air like it was a big chance of a wicket instead of the ball hitting the middle of the bat.
I thought it's the heat is on, not the chase.
The chase is on. The chase is. It's the heat is on as a song. The chase is on is possibly a saying. Would it be in catchphrase as this ball is pushed to
I don't think
Ruston
it would
Chase?
be in catchphrase.
It wouldn't be in catchphrase.
No, I think it would be the heat is on.
Say what you see.
The blank is on.
Yeah, the blank.
The kettle is on.
Look at Mr. Chips.
Yeah.
So, nevertheless, Ruston Chase is on, and he's lifted high in the air. There's got to be somebody underneath this. There's got to be somebody underneath it. There is somebody underneath it. Sam Curran has thrown it away. The pressure, 2 dots earlier in the over. Told Drinks takes no, it wasn't Drinks, was it? It was 25 overs gone. There was a slight rethinking of the plan by the West Indies, and Sam Curran, he didn't really get in the right
He
shape.
needed to stay there.
Yeah, he didn't really get the right shape, and it sort of skewed a little inside-out shot as though he was fading it round the corner at the Belfry. Ruston Chase has his wicket. He has bowled well. He has deserved that. England are 5 down, and Fred, your wish to be home before midnight may well be in the offing.
Yeah, well, you know, you take the little wins when you can.
You love it here. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Well, this is all very exciting. This is the. Is this the decider? I haven't really been paying attention.
It is. It's the third of 3. We're at 1-1. It's rock, paper, scissors.
We're going to remember this for a very, very, very long time.
How long do you think?
Oh,
couple of days?
Tomorrow morning.
There might be 1 or 2 other reasons to remember today, actually, in the future.
Why? What?
We're not supposed to talk about it.
No, we're not talking politics.
We can if you like.
No, let's. No, I'm not. No, definitely not.
The new batsman. I'm calling him Mousley because I believe that's how he pronounces his name.
Yeah, it's like Mousley, isn't it? Which is it?
Mousley.
Mousley.
loves the T20. T-A-N-I-E-L-M-O-U-S-L-E.
I think he might like that.
I
Mousley.
see. That is the Mickey Mouse theme. That's actually quite clever for him.
It is. It's in my mind. It's always the start of the Alexi Sale show. If you remember, he used to come on. The pack is great for you and me. ALEXEISAYLE.
Tiresome.
He could be very funny. He could be very funny.
Yeah.
I understand.
You know where
why
I'm
you
coming
don't.
from.
Yes, of course I do. As Dan Mousley, who is facing round the wicket. Ruston Chase, left-handed he is, and he just pushes it to the right hand of extra cover. There was possibly one there. It is Carty, who's taken time off from Grange Hill to play in this match.
The fielder was number 96, and so is the batsman. Has that ever happened before? No one cares.
96 to 96.
Ah, well spotted.
Yeah.
Well spotted. Yeah, Todd Carty.
Todd Carty. Yeah. It's Kesey Carty.
Todd
I think
Carty
it is.
was in the EastEnders.
No, well he was, yes, but he was also in Grange Hill.
Oh.
He was Tucker.
He was Tucker Jenkins.
Tucker's a
this is very full, and he almost yorked himself, did Mousley, but he got enough of the bat on it to get it to the man, saving one, would you believe, at mid-on. And the
Now, you see, this isn't a boring middle over.
No, it isn't. It
Could be a
isn't.
wicket maiden.
It could be a wicket maiden.
And I think that's very, very exciting.
Yeah, as this ball is defended, it is a wicket maiden from Ruston Chase. Sam Curran was the man out for 40. England on 94 for 5 off 26. That 200 looks a little more distant.
So, what's this? Have we lost Andy for good? Is there no more Andy?
He's called Nigel at the moment. I don't know.
Is he supposed to be on next up?
He's on. He's yes. I'm not sure. Metal in both legs. Annie slurring socials got to be in the top 10 of best birthdays. I'm not slurring yet.
No, you're not slurring yet.
I mean, this is
young,
only
though, to be
the
fair.
first can of beer.
It's not slurring at all.
Yeah, no.
Slurring.
But I could maybe.
Slurring.
If it is your birthday and you want me to, you could do a super chat. Pirate Badger, the inverted commas around liberated are doing the heavy thing.
Oh, yeah, as I thought, he nixed them from somewhere.
Could be. Changing bowling. I rather like this bowler. I think he's got a lot to admire. And
the Bears come in to do some production.
From Georgetown, Guyana, where he had his first nets.
It's Moti, and this is punched to mid or long on for yet another single. Right. Okay.
Gary's got to do a little bit of moving.
I'm not quite sure what we're doing here, but
I think it's called Piss Up in a Brewery again. So at the moment we're doing a little bit of seat changing, and Gary's moving away from the side.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
And Bear's coming in to rescue Zoom, in fact. And I'm not sure Gary's actually linked up yet, so that was just a single. And the screen's gone small as well, so... and Andy's back. Oh my God, I can't keep up with all of this.
The Bear is performing open heart surgery, which is what England need. As far as I can tell, that was punched to long on, and if I say England took a single, I'm probably going to be right, aren't I?
Yeah, it's quite hard to see, isn't it, when it goes all small?
Bear, do you know what's going on with the screen there?
Gary, have you sat on the control?
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. It's still not right now. No, I do not. That's why I have children. This ball is pushed into the leg side.
Is that the only reason you have children?
It's the main reason, I think. When I was a lecturer, the students used to do all this for me. I used to ask a student to come up and could you just turn this thing on? I can't see the on switch.
So then you thought, God, I'll have to have kids to do this.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So Moti is bowling. He's been a little expensive in the context of the match, but I do think he's got a bit about him.
Yeah.
Left arm gets a bit of turn there. It's about the only turn we've seen.
There hasn't been a lot, has there?
No, it's cut by Salt, who is the boy stood on the burning deck at the moment. Is Salt? He's been there all through the innings for his 43. And England would be very sorry without that 43, but he picks out the fielder again, as he's done really on a regular basis. 4 off the over. Salt has 43. Mousley is in with 2. 98 for 5. 27 overs gone. And the Bears' patience is also running out.
Yeah, well, you know, he is the only one, isn't he? Jay Grover says, I volunteer to walk Fred home. Moutley says, the gap is on. Where's Lily Savage when you need her?
Yeah, Lily Savage, yeah, the much missed Paul O'Grady from the Wirral from Birkenhead.
Lockie 6 says, Jay, can you guarantee to get him home in one piece, though? Well, no, he can't do that.
Yeah, we're seeing Sam Curran here, inside out. He didn't really get to the pitch of the ball, but he still went through with the shot. Sam Curran's a talented batter, but he's not a specialist.
He keeps getting those 30s.
Yeah, I think he would have just eased out of that and just knocked it back. Oh, that does turn from Ruston Chase from outside the off stump. That's a rare one to turn. Mousley played at it, went fizzed past the outside edge.
Yeah, Chase is getting a bit of turn, and he's being fairly economical, isn't he?
He is. He's bowled very, very well. Deserved that wicket of Sam Curran. Mousley looks about 14 under the lid there, and this is punched to the man at long off, where there is yet another conceded single. For some reason, Ruston Chase is on the ground.
Yeah, he's got a bit of batting nous, hasn't he? Mousley.
Yeah, he's the kind of batsman who bowls, so probably handy in this situation to be coming in at 7. Because the man who's coming after him, Jamie Overton, is very much a bowler who bats, but he hasn't bowled much because he's been injured. As Ruston Chase is in again, there's a little bit of turn from outside off stump, but it's actually clipped well there. Cut by Phil Salt for 4.
He's getting close to his 50.
He is getting close to his 50. It wasn't much of a ball from Chase, it was short.
Luckily, we haven't had to do too many jingles.
We haven't had to do too many jingles, and the Bear is just
he doesn't
exasperated.
Know. He doesn't know why it's not working.
So England's 100 is up as well, 103 for 5. This is very full from Chase, and it's just pushed back rather than driven by Phil Salt. This feels like it's been a very long commentary stint. I don't know about you.
Well, yours has, hasn't it?
Yeah, mine has.
I mean, and I think they've all just piled into the pizza.
I think
There'll
so.
be no pizza left.
I know.
You'll have been in here doing all this commentary.
I know. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But that ball was pushed to short extra, and there was no run. England's current run rate is 3.7 as Roston chases in again. And would you believe it's punched down the ground to long on for a single? If anybody can work out the record number of singles in the first 30 overs of an ODI, it does feel like there's been an extraordinary number thereof.
Yeah, I mean, and surprisingly so, because England are not that type of team.
No, they're not. They're, it's all front foot and hitting boundaries and pressure back on the bowler. But the other side of the coin is that West Indies haven't really tried to defend the single. They've been happy to concede them, and they'll look at it and they say there's only been 2 overs from 28 that have gone for more than a run a ball, which is amazing, really, when you think of how white ball cricket is played. There's a bit of that. There's a bit of losing wickets at bad times, and it is a slow pitch. It will be hard to hit boundaries.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to get easier?
Whether after twilight will there be a bit of dew? Will a ball zip onto the bat? I never really understand this stuff.
Why not?
Because I've seen
You've been around a bit, Gary.
I've seen it go both ways. I've seen the pitches get slower under lights, and I've seen them get faster under lights.
It's the great thing about cricket, isn't it?
Well, the more you know about it, the less you can
understand. Yeah. It's a bit like science or anatomy.
I was thinking of something else, actually, but
women.
Yet again, I'm tempted to say you can say that, but I couldn't possibly comment. Phil Selt gets the single he was looking for, backward of the Jonty Rhodes position.
I can say that because I don't have to understand women, really.
Well, it's a handy skill to have even for a woman, but it's a rare skill indeed for a man.
Yeah, I don't think it's a necessary thing either, because I think you just are who you are.
Well, yes, I think there's a lot in that. As he goes down, there's the left-handed Mousley and gets it on the sweep. I think that's the first sweep we've seen.
I was about to say I haven't seen much sweeping going on, and he's quite cocky, isn't he?
Yeah,
Come in.
Gotta
his
have it.
eighth ball he's faced, and he's sweeping already when there hasn't been a lot. Yeah.
A single is taken. It's 106 for 5.
And Salt's on his 49.
He goes back to Salt and he punches it hard to the man at short extra, but an unnecessarily spectacular bit of fielding there on the ground. There is no run. I'll tell you about what I think is the best analysis of the human condition that I've read in a moment. As he goes back and he punches this hard as Phil Salt. It goes to the man sweeping on the cover boundary, and in the middle of the 29th over of the innings, England's opener raises his bat for his 50.
Off how many more? 70, but 79 balls, yeah.
3 fours, 1 6.
And you know that can't be bad. Yeah, it's 50, and you know you should be glad.
I think it's a very unsalt innings, really, isn't it?
Mousley shows a bit of intent by reaching out, playing that ball out of the rough. Gets a single to.
He does have intent, doesn't he? He's quite a cocky little player.
Yeah, you've got to have a bit of arrogance if you want to play sport at any level, really. The secret is to back it up.
Yeah. So basically, all sports people are fairly horrible.
Not all.
Well,
this ball is punched by on the leg side with a bit of bottom hand by Phil Salt, and they threw for a single. But you have to believe that you can always win. You have to go through a kind of development phase. If you want to play elite sport, you've spent years and years being the best in the teams that you've played for, which creates a certain mindset.
Yeah.
Bear's got some news, I think.
Right, okay. Peeps, are we at the end of it over? Are we at
we
drinks?
Are, yeah.
Are we at drinks or whatever?
We'll explain the rules of cricket to you later, Bear.
Right, okay. I'm just going to quickly shut off Wirecast. We'll be out for about a minute. I've just got to reset something. I've realised what this has happened. We stopped Zoom earlier. and consequently it's not picked it up again when we've restarted. Wirecast has a little fucking tricky thing like this. I think that's the problem, and I'm hoping that we will be able to pick. Do you want to leave for a minute, Andy, anyway, as well, and I'll get you to rejoin again? But I reckon, no, actually I don't think you will have to. I don't think you'll have to.
Okay.
I think you'll be fine.
Right, so see you soon.